Marvel, it starts when it links with a great clock of the Super God Academy. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 226 The Last Golden Time. Li Qingyun and Sun Wukong had just dealt with all the Teodi when the light of dawn appeared in midair. The team led by Du Qiangwei had dealt with the Teodi on their side and rushed over at the fastest speed. As soon as the light of dawn stopped, Qingyun rushed out immediately, and Su Xiaoli followed closely behind her. However, when Qingyun saw Li Qingyun, she rushed over and hugged him, but Su Xiaoli stood back after seeing Sun Wukong. Unlike Qingyun's feelings when facing Li Qingyun, Su Xiaoli's feelings when facing Sun Wukong were more complicated, belonging to the inherited perception at the genetic level. The so-called past and present lives. Are you okay? Qingyun came to Li Qingyun, and her original anxiety was forced to be suppressed at this moment, but the tension in her eyes was still clearly seen by Li Qingyun. It's okay, isn't Wukong here? Li Qingyun said with a smile. You guys fought well, but you were too impulsive. Remember to keep calm in the future. Snipers are most afraid of being impatient and emotionally unstable, Li Qingyun reminded. Although he was not there, he was aware of the battle situation on Qingyun's side at any time. As the deputy commander-in-chief and direct person in charge of the Black Great Wall, all information about the battlefield from the Giant Gorge would be transmitted to him as soon as possible. In addition, the Denner Satellite Number 3, which is used to monitor the global situation, is now under Li Qingyun's control. It's all because of you. You knew it was a trap, but you still had to fight this Teodi army alone. Qingyun's tone was full of complaints. She was like this because she was worried. Li Qingyun naturally understood this. When Liu Trang, Rui Mengmeng, and He Weilin were sniped by the demon army and she was the only one left on the battlefield, she was still able to calm down and surrender without being discovered by the demons. Later, just by cooperating with a group of special forces, they were able to suppress the demon army directly. Not only did they rescue Liu Chuang's team, but they also shot Morgana in the head. It can be said that in the original animation, Qingyun was the first to hurt Morgana and the first to shoot Morgana in the head. Although, in fact, no harm was caused. Okay, blame me. Li Qingyun could only admit his mistake first. At this time, it was not a clear choice to argue with a woman. Let's go back to the Giant Gorge first. After today's battle, I'm afraid nothing will happen in a short time, but you super soldiers must grow up faster. Li Qingyun looked at the super soldiers behind Qingyun. This time, only 3 Teodi formations came, which made them unable to arrange the number. On the Teodi Legion side, there are hundreds of spaceships. For a formation like this, it is easy to send out hundreds of them. If the other side sends more troops next time and wants to fight the Earth to kill at all costs, the Earth does not have so many people to consume them. The most important thing is that the demon army has officially ended. The demon army may have other actions in the future, and the demon army will definitely be 10 times more difficult to deal with than the Teodi army. Let's go. You also come back to the Giant Gorge with me. Li Qingyun turned around and looked at Sun Wukong. This is currently the most powerful super soldier on Earth except for himself. Li Qingyun can't let him stay in Huaguo Mountain. I won't. The demons have already ended. And the Earth will soon be invaded by the major civilizations in the universe. At this time, if we still disperse our combat power, it is equivalent to providing these invaders with an opportunity in vain. Li Qingyun interrupted Sun Wukong directly. This is no longer a trivial matter of love. If it is not handled properly, the next outcome will be that the Earth will be breached and the world will fall. You saw me being trapped by the demon army with a space blockade today. Even if I was fighting alone, I would still be suppressed like this. If you were alone, they would definitely find a way to trap you at a critical moment, and we all have to understand that today's demon army is not the demon army in its heyday. Their demon wings have not yet come to the Earth. If they all come, it will be more difficult for me to break through today's space blockade. The various moves they use to deal with me will also emerge in an endless stream. Li Qingyun has said so much, and Sun Wukong naturally understands that at this time, it is more useful to unite the troops than to separate them. I understand. Sun Wukong no longer refuses, but when she said this, she couldn't help but take another look at Su Xiaoli, who was standing not far behind Qingyun. Su Xiaoli didn't say anything either. She knew that now was not the right time. The others quickly returned to the light of dawn, and Li Qingyun and Sun Wukong flew by themselves. This is because Sun Wukong doesn't want to stay in the same cabin with Su Xiaoli for the time being, which would be very embarrassing. Li Qingyun stayed outside to keep him company. And this was also Su Xiaoli's secret request. She was afraid that Sun Wukong would run away again. Soon, everyone returned to the giant gorge, including the team led by Reina. This time, facing the three teams of the Teodi Legion from three directions, they achieved a comprehensive victory. However, although the super soldiers were excited and proud this time, several core senior executives seemed more worried than before. In the past, they only knew that the Teodi Legion would attack them, but now even the Demon Legion has personally come out. A real interstellar invasion may break out at any time. Li Qingyun handed over the daily training of the Xiaongbing Company to Reina, and he will be responsible for the manufacture of the Red Star No. 1 astronomical computer. At the same time, there is also the Mangdangshan. Most importantly, Li Qingyun has begun to secretly redesign and build a new communication system, so that after the Earth's communication network is destroyed in the future, Li Qingyun can quickly build a new one. In addition, Li Qingyun's construction of the dark matter plane in the microcosm is also accelerating. With a large amount of void energy absorbed and transformed from the demon army, Li Qingyun is now more relaxed in the process of opening up the dark matter plane. The scale of its dark plane and the facilities inside are also further expanding and improving. The next period of time can be said to be the last short period of time for the Xiaongbing Company to develop in a peaceful environment. Because, while Li Qingyun and everyone in the Xiaongbing Company were doing all this, the angels had already set off from the mellow heaven and were about to fly to the earth. Chapter 227 Angels Arrive. We have arrived on Earth. The coordinates of the galaxy power have been located. The coordinates of the god of war of no star have been located. The coordinates of the light of the sun have been located. Let the clouds roll up. The queen has arrived. On Earth, above the giant narrow city, the clouds suddenly began to change, and the entire sky became strange at this moment. All the super soldiers and ordinary soldiers on the giant canyon came out at the first time, and they all looked up and looked at the situation in the sky. What a scene! Li Qingyun frowned. Seeing this scene, he naturally knew what was going on, but he didn't expect that after his battle with Angel Yan and his own advice, the angels still came, and came so quickly. Don't be nervous, let everyone deal with it in their normal form. Li Qingyun recovered quickly and then gave orders to everyone directly. The entire fleet was on emergency alert, but after hearing what Li Qingyun said, they actually lowered the level of alert. As the deputy commander of the Black Great Wall and Xiaongbing Glian project, Li Qingyun's status in the South China Sea Fleet is already very high. In addition, he had just led Xiaongbing Glian to win a battle against the Teodi Legion and the Demon Legion not long ago, and his prestige in the South China Sea Fleet has also been greatly improved. What's going on? Du Kao came to Li Qingyun and asked directly. It's an angel. It's probably Holy Kesha who came in person, Li Qingyun said. You mean Kesha? The one who is known as the King of Gods. Du Kao's face became even uglier. Holy Kesha, the King of Gods, is very strong when facing many things. Her appearance on Earth is not a good thing for the Earth. Let's go. No matter what her purposes, as the host, we have to meet her when she comes. After Li Qingyun finished speaking, he took the lead and walked to the deck. Du Kao hesitated and followed behind. When the two came to the deck, Kesha was already floating above the great gorge on her huge throne, with several angels standing on her left and right. Li Qingyun also sensed the presence of angels in the great gorge and on other frigates around. They were on alert. Is that the god of chaos? The moment Li Qingyun came out, Kesha had already noticed him, and directly asked the angel Yan next to him. Yes, he is the god of chaos, Yan answered, and when she looked at Li Qingyun at this moment, her eyes were a little complicated. She knew that Li Qingyun told her all that in the hope that Holy Kesha would not come to Earth easily, but in the end she still couldn't change anything, and Kesha still came. And this time she only brought more than a dozen angels with her, not even the Skyblade series. The fourth generation of the divine body, Kesha observed Li Qingyun, and her eyes of insight had already been activated, and she was understanding Li Qingyun's situation. What a huge amount of dark energy. His energy level is almost catching up with Morgana. Kesha said this with a little teasing. But she soon showed a hint of surprise, because when she wanted to learn more about Li Qingyun, she found that she could not read Li Qingyun's detailed information, including his gene sequence, past experiences, etc. All of this seemed to have been deliberately blocked, or existed in a form that could not be understood by him. What a weird gene data? What kind of god is this guy? Keisha was surprised, but the surprise was fleeting. Apart from the gods, they would not be so shocked by a super soldier who suddenly appeared on the earth. Queen, the location of Morgana Demon number 1 has been located. Do you want to use the Skyblade Judgment? Zixin suddenly asked. This time, the angel descended, the sacred wings did not separate, and the right wing guard Zixin also came with him. The earth has a limited nuclear order. All means of attack above the nuclear level are not allowed to be used on earth. Li Qingyun suddenly spoke, and his words made Keisha, Zixin and Yan look at Li Qingyun at the same time. Although Zixin asked Keisha, their conversations were always in secret mode, and the people below could not hear it. But when Zixin just said whether to use the Skyblade Judgment, Li Qingyun directly stopped Zixin, which obviously knew what Zixin was talking about. Can you get past the communication blockade of the Sacred Knowledge Treasure House and read Zixin's secret communication? Keisha asked directly. Although she was shocked by Li Qingyun's various information and the ability he showed at this moment, she did not mean to be afraid at all. In the eyes of the King of the Gods, although Li Qingyun is very strong, he is not even as good as Morgana, and it is impossible for him to become a threat. Your Sacred Knowledge Treasury is the most powerful celestial computer in the known universe, except for the Great Clock. I really don't have the ability to read the dark communication of the 2 double-winged guards beside you by bypassing your Sacred Knowledge Treasury, Li Qingyun replied. Then how do you know what Zixin just said? Keisha continued to ask. Thoughts. I can directly enter other people's brains and read the thinking information in their brains. If I want, I can also directly control some people's brains and turn them into my puppets. Li Qingyun's answer without any disguise made the angels feel nakedly threatened. You invaded my brain. Zixin directly drew out a flaming sword. It was obvious that he was anxious and wanted to fight with Li Qingyun. Your queen Keisha read my dark data unscrupulously as soon as she came. I just changed the way to return it. You can't stand it? Li Qingyun sneered. He didn't say it, but it didn't mean that he didn't know that Keisha was reading his dark data information. As the person in charge of the Xiangbinglian project for super soldiers on Earth, it is not too much to say that Li Qingyun is the representative of Earth. Keisha is the king of angels, and Li Qingyun is the representative of Earth. The dialogue between the representatives of both sides should be polite. What an arrogant boy. Keisha waved to signal Zixin to stop. She was now full of curiosity about Li Qingyun. She wanted to see what kind of ability and confidence Li Qingyun had to dare to talk to her like this. How about you try to invade my brain? Keisha said. Your self-defense awareness is too high, and the mental strength of your brain is too high. I can't invade it yet, but I guess you can't read all my dark data, right? Li Qingyun said, but most of his dark data is hidden in the small universe of the Soul Gem. Keisha can read the dark data of people weaker than her, but she can't read the dark data of another universe. Chapter 228. This is a question of principle and bottom line. Li Qingyun couldn't directly invade Keisha's brain. Keisha also couldn't see Li Qingyun's thoughts. The two of them were now in a relatively balanced situation, and neither could fully see through the other. You are indeed very special, but it is natural for us angels to enforce justice in the universe. Why do you refuse? Keisha didn't continue to dwell on the fact that she couldn't see through the other's thoughts. Moreover, this was originally a courtesy and a manifestation of each other's abilities. She didn't need to dwell on this point and go to extremes. Naturally? Haha, Li Qingyun sneered helplessly. If this was on a planet you ruled, what you wanted to do might be natural, but this is Earth. We have our own laws and our own bottom line. Here, all the rules must be in accordance with our own, Li Qingyun said. Perhaps, in your opinion, sacrificing tens of thousands or even millions of people is worth it as long as Morgana can be eliminated, but have you ever thought that if we, the soldiers who have the responsibility to defend the land, choose to indulge in such things, how can we gain the trust of the people in the future? If outsiders can find a reason to drop nuclear bombs on our place, how can we be confident that we can always stand firm in our beliefs when facing stronger invaders in the future? Li Qingyun said, and his words at this moment immediately attracted everyone's attention in the giant canyon and were recognized by us soldiers. Well said, but as a god, shouldn't you consider how to minimize the loss of the earth? Keisha was still calm. She had seen too many things. Things like this were just ordinary to her. Do you think that my allowing you to use the Skyblade Judgment really reduced the loss of my earth? Li Qingyun asked her a question directly. Demons are the greatest evil in the world. With them, the earth will not be at peace. Now I am destroying them with the Skyblade judgment. Although some people in your region will be sacrificed, the vast majority of the remaining people can continue to live as before. Isn't this reducing losses? Keisha continued to explain her views. First of all, can your Skyblade judgment really kill Morgana, who has a fourth-generation divine body? This, Keisha did not answer immediately. She did not know in advance that Morgana really had a fourth-generation divine body. In addition, once I allow you to use the Skyblade judgment with power above nuclear, then the Teodi Legion can ignore the nuclear restriction order I issued. At that time, all their spacecrafts will simultaneously launch attacks such as fierce tides and laser fire pillars at the Earth. How many do you think my Earth can stop? Keisha was silent, because she had realized the problem that Li Qingyun was talking about. The gains and losses you calculated are just a string of cold numbers, but you so-called gods have already overlooked a principled issue, that is, once the rules are broken, the lower limit can be broken infinitely. Li Qingyun said, this is the main reason why he insisted on not letting Holy Kesha use the Skyblade judgment to attack Morgana. As a time traveler, Li Qingyun knew that Morgana would lead to a full-scale invasion of the demons and the Teodi core after Kesha's death, and the number of casualties on the entire Earth would exceed more than 3 billion. Compared with a mere 1 million people who died today, it can be said to be a world of difference. The existence of the nuclear restriction order is much more important to the Earth than these angels think. The Teodi launched a fierce tide in Luoyang City, and millions of people in the entire city were directly exterminated. If it weren't for the Demon Core nuclear restriction order at that time, the Demon Core would have directly sent people to behead the Teodi commander who launched the fierce tide, and all the people in the Teodi Core would probably follow suit. To paraphrase a sentence from the Teodi commander, they are not good at fighting super soldiers, but they are good at bombing cities. Even if it is the various countries on Earth today, if the nuclear bombs in their hands are released without regard for the consequences, it will be enough to destroy the entire Earth. I understand, Keisha nodded, and she was very appreciative of Li Qingyun's vision and his views on this matter. Zhizhen, cancel the coordinate lock on Demon Number 1 and revoke the judgment on Morgana this time. Keisha gave the order directly, and then Zhizhen directly withdrew the lock on Demon Number 1. Morgana and the demons who were originally in a panic in Demon Number 1 were suddenly confused at this moment. In the past, the Angel Legion would directly use the Skyblade judgment and launch an attack without regard for the consequences once it was locked. Why did it cancel the lock without even launching the Skyblade judgment this time? As a result, Morgana's plan to drive Demon Number 1 to the Giant Canyon was stranded. She didn't know whether to go there or not. In the end, they could only wait and see. While Atai and the others continued to look for a suitable hiding place, Morgana also began to observe the situation on the Great Gorge. I respect your nuclear limit, but there are still many secrets in you that I need to know. Keisha did not come to Earth for Morgana this time. In fact, she came to find Li Qingyun after learning that Li Qingyun had the fourth-generation divine body and the ability to suppress the super gene of angels. Finding Morgana was just a matter of convenience. The environment today is not suitable. You should find a place to stay first. After I deal with things here, I will go to meet you in person, Li Qingyun said. Okay. After Keisha finished speaking, she waved her hand and the angels began to retreat. They returned to the sky and found a place with relatively good scenery. Then, they built a temporary floating camp with their abilities and rested there temporarily. On the Great Gorge, the Xiaongbing Company and the military leaders immediately held an emergency meeting. This is about the coming of angels, and Li Qingyun will have to meet with Holy Kesha later. This is a very important and dangerous matter, and they must pay attention to it. However, unlike the angels' ease and the Earth's tension, the demon army at this time is a little confused. Didn't you chase us everywhere before? Why did you forget about us this time? Morgana couldn't figure it out. Why did Kesha's attitude towards her suddenly change so much today? Queen, why do you seem a little unhappy? Isn't it a good thing that we were not attacked? Atai looked at Morgana in confusion. Go away, Queen, I'm annoyed, don't bother me, Morgana said, but she quickly added. Calculate a safe coordinate immediately and hide. If Kesha really gives us a Skyblade judgment, Demon Number may first not be able to withstand it. Chapter 229, Conversation with Holy Kesha. In the meeting room of the Giant Gorge, the top military officials and the main members of the heroic company all gathered together. Deputy Commander, are you really going to meet with Holy Keisha? Jezailan looked at Li Qingyun and asked doubtfully. I see that the angels are all very arrogant and fully armed. I'm afraid they are not easy to talk to, Qilin said. Her original status and position were not enough for today's meeting, but because of Li Qingyun, her current situation is also different from the original. Last time you had a fight with that angel Yan or something. This time they are probably coming for revenge, Qilin said so, but for some reason, she suddenly thought of the scene when Li Qingyun hugged the angel Yan who was about to fall into the sea. She always had a feeling that if Li Qingyun had more contact with angels, something bad would happen. Just the last thing, not that bad. Li Qingyun still knew the style of the angels. They might be strong and arrogant, but they would never be the kind of petty people. No matter what, it's not safe for you to go to the angels alone, Dukeo said. I suggest that you choose a few people to accompany you. At least if something special happens, there will be someone to take care of you, Lena suggested. Choosing too many people will seem a bit inappropriate. Li Qingyun was going to meet with Keisha, mainly for negotiation. Being nervous at this time would only make things worse. Then let me go with you. Sun Wukong stood up directly. Only you? Lian Feng looked at Sun Wukong in confusion. I'm enough. Sun Wukong was very confident. Yes, Wukong is enough. Li Qingyun also quickly responded. He was afraid that if he hesitated any longer, these people who were afraid of him being in danger would really choose a bunch of people to follow him. At this stage, there is really no one more suitable than Wukong. Dukeo still understood that he couldn't be too aggressive at this time, but he couldn't be without any precautions. The last time they faced the demon army, it was Li Qingyun and Sun Wukong. Although Holy Keisha is stronger than Morgana, Holy Keisha should not set an ambush for Li Qingyun. Therefore, it is enough for Sun Wukong to go with Li Qingyun and take care of each other. It will not make the earth seem too strong, which will make the angels feel that the earth does not trust them and cause some unnecessary misunderstandings. Then, let's go now. Li Qingyun also stood up and summoned the armor to wear. After that, he and Sun Wukong left here together and went to the sky. The angels were there, and Li Qingyun and Sun Wukong naturally went there to meet them. When Li Qingyun and Sun Wukong arrived, the angels were already waiting. Keisha sat on a huge stone pillar, and Angel Yan and Angel Zixin stood behind her. As for Angel Ling and others, they had already arrived at other floating islands. Since Li Qingyun only brought Sun Wukong with him, Keisha only left the Holy Wings, which were the core members deliberately retained, as a kind of respect and equality for each other. When Li Qingyun saw this scene, he actually understood Keisha's attitude on this matter. She really regarded Li Qingyun as the main god of a civilization, even though the earth today has not yet been unified, let alone reached the level of a main god-level civilization. Before they came, they were still worried that you would do something bad to me, Li Qingyun said. And then summoned 2 chairs and placed them behind him and Sun Wukong. The two sat down at the same time without any prior arrangement, which was obviously different from Keisha's side where one person sat and the other 2 could only stand. But now it seems that our holy Keisha also respects others very much, Li Qingyun added after sitting down. The void suppression method you showed to Yan gave us a good warning, allowing us to take precautions in this regard in advance, which can be regarded as a great help to our angels. It is normal to treat you better, Keisha said, and she also waved her hand, motioning Yan and Zixin to sit down. There was no need to be too serious in such a private meeting. Moreover, the 2 people opposite were sitting on an equal footing, but they were still clearly distinguishing between the main and the subordinate, which seemed a bit inappropriate. However, this habit that has been formed over tens of millions of years cannot be changed just by saying so. Even though Keisha waved her hand, Yan and Zixin just nodded, but still guarded Keisha to her left and right. Seeing them like this, Keisha didn't say much. Anyway, it was just a small matter. You are the king of the gods in the known universe. At present, there is no one stronger than you in the entire known universe. According to your and the angels' ideas, you will not allow demons and gluttons to mess around on Earth. In such a stable universe, our Earth can develop better. I do this simply to create more time for the Earth to develop peacefully, Li Qingyun said. According to what you said, are you worried that I will fall? Keisha asked. You should know how the god of death Karl has developed over the years. With his desire to explore the void and Morgana's hatred for you, they have absolute reasons to attack you, Li Qingyun said. There are so many people in this universe who want me dead, but who has the ability to do so? At this time, Keisha still looked calm. To her, Whether it was the god of death Carl or Morgana, their desire to kill her had been going on for a long time, but after so many years, it was different that she had no way to deal with them. As long as she was strong enough, all hostility would be meaningless. Even I have the ability to target you. Do you think the god of death Carl has the ability to target you? Li Qingyun came to remind Keisha specifically, which was considered to be helping Keisha. But Keisha's meaning was that she clearly did not take his kindness seriously. You have the ability to target them, but not me, Keisha said confidently. Yes, my void suppression has no effect on you, and you have long known that I have the means to suppress your angels, but you have only come today. You must have studied the means of defense against this void suppression, and you must have thought it was foolproof. Li Qingyun could see that what he had done to Angel Yan before did not attract enough attention from Keisha. As long as we know the problem, we can find a solution. Since you have shown it once, we will naturally find a way to deal with it, Keisha said. She has always been like this. She has become stronger step by step, using this method. Every time Li Zai researched and developed a new technology, he would first test it on Keisha, but every time, Keisha would quickly find a solution. This is where her sacred Keisha is powerful. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 230, Holy Keisha's Invitation. Do you want me to simulate a plan to kill you? Li Qingyun looked at Keisha's stubbornness and decided to show her the scene in the animation where Keisha was blown up by the Emerald Star. No need, Keisha refused directly. Whatever Carl and Morgana want to do to me is my business. I will solve it later. This time I came here just for you. Everything else is secondary, Keisha said, while adjusting her sitting posture, as if she wanted to observe Li Qingyun more carefully. There are many secrets in you. Although Keisha had observed it when she first came, what she saw at that time was not comprehensive. Now that the two of them were sitting face to face, they could see more carefully. The super gene in Li Qingyun's body contained the power of the void, and it was a very powerful void power, at least much more powerful than the sub-biological engine that she asked Li Zai to study. In addition, there were some very special energies. Although she didn't know them, she could still sense the characteristics of these energies. Who doesn't have secrets? Li Qingyun said. Everyone has secrets. It's just that the secrets of Li Qingyun are so secrets that even Holy Keisha can't see them. You are different. Your secrets have already involved the origin of the universe. Keisha can be sure that any of the secrets of Li Qingyun can be used to subvert the rules of the universe. You are right, Li Qingyun did not refute. The secrets in his body, such as the God Group Factor, Thunder God Factor, Chaos Magic, any one of them can shake the origin of the known universe of the Super God Academy. You are not modest. Keisha didn't expect that Li Qingyun would admit it so directly. Sometimes you need to be modest, but sometimes you don't need to be modest, Li Qingyun said. That makes sense, but I have always been curious. For someone like you, it is not difficult to form a force or even become the main god of a civilization. Why are you still attached to the Super God Academy? Keisha asked again. The more she talked to Li Qingyun, the more interested she became in him. At this time, she even had the idea of pulling Li Qingyun to her side. I was found by the principle of space, so it is natural for me to stay in the Super God Academy. Li Qingyun still understood his identity. He started to travel from the real world under the influence of the principle of space, and came to the Super God universe directly under the guidance of the principle of space. He himself belongs to the Super God Academy. The Super God Academy is just a matter of identity. Aren't you actually leaving the Super God Academy now? Since you have already left the Super God Academy, then it doesn't matter whether it is the earth or the mellow heaven, you can go anywhere, right? Keisha's words are equivalent to saying it clearly. When the Angel Yan and the Angel Xiaxin heard this, they were already stunned. Mellow heaven has only been composed of female angels for 30,000 years. Keisha actually wants to invite a man like Li Qingyun to join. This is really the first time in history. I know that you have been asking the Black Wall of Earth to build a celestial computer for you. I believe you have been trying to improve your strength. My mellow celestial cord is the absolute strongest force in the universe today. As long as you come to me, you can get all the resources you need at the first time. Seeing that Li Qingyun did not answer, Keisha actually started to make a formal invitation. Even Sun Wukong next to Li Qingyun was shocked by Keisha's formal invitation. Li Qingyun is definitely the strongest one on Earth today. It can be said that the peace that Earth can maintain like this is all due to Li Qingyun's credit. If Li Qingyun is really poached by the angels, it will be a huge loss for the Earth. Forget it. Compared with you angels and demons, I still prefer to stay on Earth. Li Qingyun refused, and Sun Wukong, who heard his refusal, immediately breathed a sigh of relief. Since you insist, I won't force you, Keisha did not continue to invite. I think even though we came here for a special meeting today, there's not much to say. The current situation on Earth is not optimistic, so I'll go back first. Li Qingyun stood up. Well, go ahead. Keisha's attitude remained calm, and she just waved her hand casually. Let's go. Li Qingyun turned around and flew away directly. Sun Wukong also stood up immediately and followed. After the two of them left, Angel Ling and others immediately gathered and stood in front of Keisha. Queen Keisha, did you really want to recruit Li Qingyun just now? Angel Yan looked at Keisha in confusion. She was still shocked by Keisha's previous invitation to Li Qingyun to join the Mellow Heavenly Court. Since I said it, it must be true, Keisha replied. I don't understand, isn't it just a super soldier on Earth? Is he really as powerful as Yan said? Angel Ling was actually a little indignant. As a sacred left-wing guard, Angel Yan didn't even last a round in the hands of Li Qingyun. He defeated Sister Yan in one round, so he must be very strong, Angel Xiaxin said. That's because he has that void suppression. Without void suppression, he would probably be just like that, Angel Ling retorted. Li Qingyun's ability and skills are not as simple as you see. Even his origin is probably not what he said. Even without void suppression, with his strength, it wouldn't take much effort for him to defeat any of you, Keisha said. She was usually very friendly in front of these angels. You are all the backbone of the angel corps. There are many things that should be looked at in the long term. Although our mellow celestial court is still the most powerful civilization in the universe, in some areas, some people have begun to catch up with or even surpass us. If we can't deal with it seriously and don't find ways to improve, I'm afraid we will suffer heavy losses in the future. So, it's time for you to consider lowering your posture. Holy Keisha is confident and arrogant, but she is not stupid. As soon as Li Qingyun's void suppression came out, she understood the current situation in the universe. The angels are undoubtedly powerful, but it is also true that they are being surpassed. After hearing what Keisha said, all the angels fell silent. Others would say that they would not care about such things, but what Holy Keisha said must be remembered by everyone. Chapter 231 Angel Yan and Qilin. After Li Qingyun and Sun Wukong returned to the Giant Gorge, he went to the Black Great Wall as soon as possible. The only difference between Li Qingyun now and the main gods such as Holy Keisha, Demon King and Death God Karl is that he lacks a celestial computer. He had ordered the manufacture of Red Star No. 1 when he first arrived at the Giant Gorge. With the resources raised by the Black Great Wall over the years and the technology mastered by the Super God Academy, it should be possible to manufacture it. During the time when Li Qingyun was away, Sun Wukong told him about the situation that Holy Keisha invited Li Qingyun to join the Mellow Heavenly Court in person. I knew that Qingyun would not be good to the angels. Qilin was the first to express her opinion. Seeing Qilin's appearance, everyone around was surprised, because they clearly saw jealousy on Qilin's face. Did the Deputy Commander-in-Chief refuse? Why are you reacting so strongly? Lena looked at Qilin in confusion. Sister Na, can't you see that Sister Qilin is jealous? Su Xiaoli was also surprised. With Qilin's performance, anyone could see what Qilin was thinking, but Lena couldn't see it. Huh? Jealous? Lena really couldn't understand. Isn't it Keisha who wants Li Qingyun to join the Mellow Heaven? How can she be jealous? Have you forgotten that the last time that Angel Yan came to compete with a Deputy Commander-in-Chief, the two of them hugged each other once? Su Xiaoli reminded. When Lena heard this, she immediately realized it. When she looked at Qilin again, she finally found that Qilin's reaction after hearing the name of Angel Yan was different from before. Qilin, are you thinking too much? Lena comforted. Those angels want the Deputy Commander-in-Chief to join their angel army, not to have a relationship with Angel Yan. You are jealous. There is no need at all. This is Lena's view on this matter. In her opinion, this has nothing to do with the relationship between men and women. I know, but I just think they won't give up so easily, Qilin answered. At this moment, she felt as always that Li Qingyun's contact with the angels would not be good. No matter what, Lao Li is extremely important to the earth. So when facing Lao Li in the future, it is best to cooperate as much as possible. At least what he asks you to do is to make you stronger, Sun Wukong said. He felt very good about Li Qingyun. Since Li Qingyun found him and went with him to conquer Satan, he knew that this was a guardian who could help the Earth better resist the invasion of aliens. But now it seems more appropriate to call him a guardian. Don't worry, monkey brother, we have always obeyed orders. During this period of time, under the training of the deputy commander, it has also achieved remarkable results, Liu Chuang replied. I will also work hard. I will definitely master the anti-avoidability that the deputy commander mentioned as soon as possible, so that I can cooperate with the deputy commander to realize the manufacture of the Void Controller, Jezailan said. Void Controller? What is that? Suddenly, a puzzled voice came from midair. Then, an angel with white wings fell directly from the sky and landed on the deck. Angel Yan, Qilin stood up immediately. She was just worried that the angel would take further action against Li Qingyun. In the blink of an eye, the other party came again, and it was Angel Yan. Yes, it's me, Angel Yan answered. And at the same time, he looked at Qilin for a second time. Then, her eyes fell on Jezailan. What is the Void Controller you just mentioned? Is it powerful? Angel Yan is actually in a very complicated situation now. When she first came to Earth, Queen Kesha thought she should find a boyfriend, and she thought Jezailan was not bad. But she met Li Qingyun the second time she came, and they had a fight. As far as Angel Yan feels, Li Qingyun is much better than Jezailan. But no matter what, she doesn't want to think about these things for the time being, at least she doesn't think that she has that kind of feelings for anyone. This is the secret of the Earth, there is no need to tell you, an alien, Qilin directly blocked Jezailan. Although she didn't know whether she could tell this, she didn't want Angel Yan to know too much, and she didn't want Angel Yan to use this as an excuse to have contact with Li Qingyun. Little girl, we are not enemies now. Do you have to be so vigilant against me? Angel Yan looked at Qilin, and then she quickly realized what Qilin thought of her. She is afraid that I will compete with her for a man. How can the super soldier on this earth still consider such a romantic thing, huh? She likes Li Qingyun. At first, Angel Yan found it ridiculous that Qilin actually regarded the relationship between men and women as more important than business. But she found out at the end that Qilin liked Li Qingyun. Although Angel Yan was still not sure whether she had any good or bad feelings for Li Qingyun, she suddenly read Qilin's information and felt that she seemed to be provoked and threatened. Didn't we just have a meeting? Why are you here again so soon? Sun Wukong walked up and talked to Angel Yan face to face. I came here this time to discuss something serious with Li Qingyun. Angel Yan ignored Qilin and looked at Sun Wukong. Being able to go with Li Qingyun to meet Holy Kesha, at least in the eyes of the angel, Sun Wukong is a more important helper around Li Qingyun, and is equal to himself. Old Li is away for the time being because of something. Just tell me if you have anything, it's the same, Sun Wukong said. Let Duko come over. It's best for someone with a higher military rank to participate in this matter, Angel Yan said, and just as she finished her words, Duko had already walked out. We can talk in the conference room, Duko said. Okay, Angel Yan nodded in agreement. Wukong, Rina, the two of you come together, Duko called Sun Wukong and Rina, and then walked towards the interior of the giant canyon. Angel Yan did not hesitate and followed behind him directly. As Angel Yan entered the cabin, Qilin retracted her gaze. Du Qiangwei, Su Xiaoli and others beside her also came to her side. Angel Yan came directly and asked for Li Qingyun. There must be something wrong. But what it was, there was no way to be sure at the moment. But no matter what it was, it would be worrying for Qilin. Because what she didn't want to see the most was contact between Angel Yan and Li Qingyun. Chapter 232 Angel Yan's thoughts? Tell me, what's going on? Duko sat in the meeting room and asked directly. There is a sword demon named Atuo who is now appearing on a planet called Fraser. He is causing large-scale deaths there. Angel Yan began to talk about the reason and purpose of her coming here. We angels will not let such a thing happen, so we plan to send someone over there to save the people of Fraser. I believe that your Earth will also be willing to send someone, Angel Yan said, and at this moment, Duko and others naturally knew the purpose of Angel Yan's arrival. Such a thing really cannot be left idly by, Duko said. Since you are sending someone over there, you must also hope that we can send someone over there, right? Sun Wukong looked at Angel Yan, and he already understood the intention of Angel Yan's coming this time. Yes, Angel Yan replied. You don't want our deputy commander to go with you, do you? Reina remembered what Qingyun was worried about before, and now she asked directly. This man and woman, alone, set out from Earth to travel to another planet in the universe. During this period, they might accidentally have a fight, and Qingyun's worries would really come true. That would be the best. Angel Yan did not hide the fact that she really hoped that Earth would allow Li Qingyun to go, so that she could go with him. During this period, she could further understand Li Qingyun's true situation, and help Queen Keisha continue to try to recruit Li Qingyun to join the Mellow Heavenly Court. The secrets hidden in this god of chaos are something that Holy Keisha has always been very concerned about. Old Li is the deputy commander-in-chief of the Xiaongbing Company and the most important person on Earth now. He cannot leave, Sun Wukong spoke, and almost at the same time, Du Kao also expressed his attitude. Old Li is indeed of great importance to Earth. At such a sensitive time, we can't let him go to Fraser. Du Kao's words were considered to be the final rejection of Angel Yan's request. Under the prerequisite that Holy Keisha had invited Li Qingyun to join the Mellow Heaven Court in advance, the people on the Giant Gorge were afraid that Li Qingyun would be abducted by the angels. Well, since you are all unwilling, then assign someone else. Angel Yan had long guessed that the Earth would not let Li Qingyun leave. The reason why he said so was just to see if there was any chance. We need to discuss this, and we also need to let Lao Li know about this matter. After all, he is the main person in charge of the Xiaongbing Company. Du Kao is the commander-in-chief, but when Li Qingyun first came to the Giant Gorge, it was already agreed that the Black Great Wall and the Xiaongbing Company would be handed over to him in the future. Therefore, although Li Qingyun is the deputy commander-in-chief, he is the real person in charge, and Du Kao is just a supervisor. Time is tight. It is better to contact Li Qingyun quickly and then make a choice, Angel Yan reminded. Wait here first, we will contact Lao Li. After Du Kao finished speaking, he stood up, took Sun Wukong and Reina, left a meeting room, and began to contact Li Qingyun. At the same time, Angel Yan, who stayed in the conference room, also connected with Holy Keisha. Did they decide to let Li Qingyun go out? Keisha asked. Yes, Li Qingyun's importance to the Earth is not as important as the Lord God, but it is almost the same. With the Demon Army and the Teodi Army both stationed in the solar system, and eyeing him at any time, they will not let him leave easily, Angel Yan answered and also expressed his own views on the matter. Well, a leader who dominates the development of civilization will not go out easily at this time. Keisha can understand this situation. After all, Keisha once founded the Mellow Heaven from scratch. And she was accompanied by Hizai and Liangbing, two sisters who could take charge of the overall situation, which is different from the current situation where Li Qingyun only has Sun Wukong by his side. Although the Xiaongbing clan has the owners of super genes such as the Galaxy Power, the Sunlight, and the No-Star War God, they are all young people who have not grown up yet and cannot stand on their own in a short time. Angel Yan now only has Li Qingyun in the whole Earth, and the others are just cute. Although they have potential, how can they become the real top gods without hundreds or thousands of years of experience? The Galaxy Power is still very good. With a little guidance, it won't take long to achieve something. When Keisha said this, she paused for a moment and asked again. I see that your thoughts seem to be fluctuating recently. Do you have your own ideas? Angel Yan hesitated. She did change. At the beginning, Keisha wanted Angel Yan and Jezailan to be together, but before she returned to Mellow Heaven, the nuclear restriction order happened again. Angel Yan met Li Qingyun before she met Jezailan. Sometimes, in some things, you are afraid of comparison. The issue of feelings still depends on the individual. Angel Yan's hesitation is enough to explain everything. The reason why I chose Jezailan for you at the beginning is because he has the potential to become the supreme god. You and he are not bearing yourself. I think that Li Qingyun, although he does not have the genetic potential of Jezailan, he is also very powerful. Maybe he will be better than Jezailan in the future. It's just that he has too many secrets, and people like him are probably not as simple as Jezailan. It may not be easy for you to get his love. Keisha has lived for tens of thousands of years, and has always been in a high position. She has seen through things like this. Queen Keisha, the current situation is very special. It's better to postpone this matter for a while before considering it. Angel Yan has her own ideas, but she also knows that what Keisha said is right. At this time, she has no way to make a completely accurate judgment. So, what are you going to do next? Keisha did not rush Angel Yan to make a decision, but diverted her attention again. Li Qingyun once said that Morgana and Carl's target is you. I plan to stay on Earth and protect you at any time, Angel Yan answered, but just this one sentence made Keisha understand everything. When Angel Yan was first asked to come, Angel Yan did not postpone it. Now that Li Qingyun has confirmed that he will not go to Fraser, Angel Yan also wants to stay. This is enough to show that in Angel Yan's heart, he has subconsciously chosen to be close to Li Qingyun. Well, let Zixin go. She is still young and needs more opportunities to gain experience. Keisha did not say much, but directly agreed. Chapter 233. The final candidate is Du Qiangwei. There are not many people who can stand alone in the current Xiaongbin company. Li Qingyun has learned about the situation from Du Kao and others. My suggestion is to let Xiaolin go with the angel, Du Kao said. With Xiaolin's ability, it is naturally safest to go out alone, but I will soon complete the construction of Red Star number 1, and then I need to cooperate with him to make the Void Controller. Letting him leave at this time will disrupt my plan, Li Qingyun said. For Li Qingyun, compared to rescuing civilians on some planet, obtaining the Void Controller is what he cares about most. As long as the Red Star number 1 is completed, and then cooperate with Xiaolin to create the Void Controller, all of Li Qingyun's early preparations will be completed, and the opening and assumption of the dark matter plane space in the small world is nearing completion. The moment the Void Controller is obtained, Li Qingyun can return to the peak of the Marvel Universe, and even be stronger than that time. By then, no one in the known universe of this Super God universe, including the God of Death Carl, can threaten him. Even if the God of Death Carl used the same trick he used against Holy Kesha to send Li Qingyun to Emerald Star by space displacement and then bombed it with a supernova, Li Qingyun could enter the small universe at the first opportunity and hide temporarily. With the characteristics of the Soul Gem, it can temporarily hide in special dimensions, and the explosion of the supernova must be difficult to affect it. As long as the first wave of impact cannot directly destroy it, Li Qingyun does not have to worry about anything else. Absolute safety is equivalent to having absolute deterrence. At that time, Li Qingyun can have nothing to worry about. The question is, are there any other suitable candidates besides Xiaolin now? Du Kao thinks that only Xiaolin is suitable now. But now Xiaolin is not going, and they have already promised Angel Yan, so it is not easy to break the appointment. Although Liu Chuang's strength is not weak, he lacks the ability to fly and his personality is not suitable. Lina is the captain, and her position is the main god of the Xiandao civilization. She is not suitable to represent the Earth to fight. Apart from the two of them, there is no one else who can enter space to fight. What Du Kao said at this moment is exactly the current situation of the Xiaongbin company. There are only 3 super warriors above the 3rd generation of divine bodies in the Xiaongbin company, and the others are at most the 2nd generation. Even Du Qiangwei, who is called the Tactical Core, is only a 2nd generation super warrior at this time. How can she go to Fraser to help others? Qiangwei has the time and space gene in her body, and her personality is relatively calm. It is actually very suitable for her to go out, Li Qingyun said, and his proposal immediately surprised Du Kao. Qiangwei? You want Qiangwei to follow the angels to Fraser, Du Kao said in surprise. That won't work. Rose is the tactical core of the hero company. She can only be used with our many configurations. Moreover, she is only a 2nd generation super soldier now. How can she enter the universe to fight? Du Kao's attitude was very firm. He just didn't want Rose to go out. Red Star number 1 will be completed soon. With the computing power of Red Star number 1 and the existing resources of the Black Great Wall, I can upgrade her to the 3rd generation immediately after returning to the Giant Canyon. In addition, I have also sorted out a copy of the experience of using the time and space gene. I can give it directly to Rose so that she can better learn and master her abilities during her time in Fraser. The angels sent one of the Holy Wings this time. They are also extremely rich in combat experience and knowledge reserves. It is also an opportunity for Rose to learn and grow with them. Li Qingyun would not let Du Rose waste time. He chose Du Rose for his own multiple considerations. But Du Kao was still unwilling, but he couldn't find a reason to refute what Li Qingyun said at this moment. I know you are worried about the safety of your biological daughter, but I can assure you that everyone else in the hero company is in danger of life, except your daughter. Are you kidding? Du Qiangwei has a space-time gene in her body. Morgana had a falling out with Kesha in order to study this space-time gene. Now that she has finally completed the design, how could she let Du Qiangwei die like this? Li Qingyun asked Du Qiangwei to go to Fraser, not only because Du Qiangwei could grow up on this journey, but also because he might be able to lead Morgana there. Without Morgana, the Death God Karl's plan for Holy Kesha would be missing the most critical link, and the Earth would be peaceful for a longer period of time. Although all this may not go as expected, at least Du Qiangwei will definitely not be in danger. I'm not just because she is my daughter, Du Kao explained. As a general, as the person in charge of the Black Great Wall project and the Hero Company, it would be unreasonable for him to not let Du Qiangwei carry out dangerous tasks just because she is his daughter. I know. Isn't it just to ask for Qiangwei's own opinion? Li Qingyun said. Let Lina tell her about this matter directly. Okay, let's do this first. I will complete the startup program of Red Star number 1 in 3 hours, and I will be back in 3 hours. After saying that, Li Qingyun directly cut off the communication. In the final testing phase of Red Star number 1, he must concentrate. This is the first time that Li Qingyun has built a celestial computer. Although he has the experience of using the big clock before, he still needs to be cautious. On the side of the giant canyon, after talking to Li Qingyun, Du Kao had no choice but to let Lina go to Du Qiangwei and tell Du Qiangwei the news brought by Angel Yan and Li Qingyun's ideas. Isn't it just going to an alien planet to deal with a demon? I am willing to go, Du Qiangwei agreed, almost without hesitation. You have to think about it. I am afraid that this trip will not be able to solve the problem easily, and you may also encounter danger. Du Kao reminded that as a father, he was still worried about Du Qiangwei. Xiaolun needs to stay and cooperate with a deputy commander to complete the manufacture and installation of the void controller. Liu Chuang doesn't have the ability to fly and his personality is not suitable. There is no other suitable candidate here except me. There was no need for Lina to explain too much. Du Qiangwei could understand the reason. Seeing that his daughter saw everything clearly, Du Kao had no way to stop it. Okay, I'll tell Angel Yan and ask them to prepare the spacecraft. When Lao Li comes back in 3 hours, we can set off, Lina said. And then went to explain everything to Angel Yan. Chapter 234 Red Star number 1. Inside the Black Great Wall, Li Qingyun was standing in front of a huge machine. This machine was the Red Star number 1 that the Black Great Wall had spent several months to build, and was about to be tested by Li Qingyun. Although its computing power was far inferior to that of the Great Clock and the Treasure House of Sacred Knowledge, and even inferior to that of the Qiancan created by Jezailan in the later period, it was still at the level of a celestial computer. As long as the Red Star number 1 could be successfully deployed, then Li Qingyun's layout for so long would be completed. After that, it was time to wait for the harvest. All preparations are ready. Next, we just need to connect enough energy to start running. Lian Fen came over with the latest information in his hand. Then let's get ready to start running, Li Qingyun replied. The energy required to start a celestial computer is even greater than that required to start the Mangdangshan. Should we find Lina first and ask her to help? Lian Feng hesitated. Although the celestial computer has been manufactured according to the design provided by Li Qingyun, it is a celestial computer after all. Even the Denner civilization in the past did not have its own celestial computer. They did not have much experience in this regard. According to the energy calculation in the design, if the celestial computer wants to operate, it will need a huge amount of energy to start it at the beginning. Only Rena's sunlight can provide this kind of energy on Earth today. No, just start it as usual. Li Qingyun had naturally prepared the design plan he gave. Do you have enough energy to start Red Star number 1? Lian Fen was a little shocked. Yes, Li Qingyun replied. Li Qingyun has several energy sources to start the celestial computer. When he was in the Marvel Universe, Li Qingyun collected infinite gems to charge the big clock. Now Red Star number 1 is more than a little behind the big clock. Although the infinite gems in this world cannot exert the same power as in the Marvel Universe, the power of a single infinite gem is still there. Their own material composition has a huge amount of energy, and even through this material, they can always be connected to the origin of the universe. Therefore, it is natural to use this infinite gem as the starting energy of Red Star number 1. All inspections are ready, everything is normal, you can start, the staff reported. Start. Li Qingyun only said these 2 words, and then all the equipment started to operate immediately. From the initial power connection, the peripheral machines were driven to operate, and then the energy tank started to start, and a huge energy access port appeared on the periphery of Red Star Number 1. Please connect to the celestial energy for supply, the staff reminded. Li Qingyun did not hesitate, he just threw a purple crystal and threw it into the energy tank. Then, the purple energy immediately spread, and the Red Star Number 1, which was originally waiting to absorb energy, was directly emitting an extremely dazzling light at this moment, and the entire system began to connect to the track in an instant. This energy, Lian Feng was a scientist from Denner civilization after all, and he could tell the special nature of energy with just one glance. Test the computing speed, and start simulating the celestial computing rules, Li Qingyun ordered, and then all the staff followed the order to execute the operation. Soon, a huge virtual projection began to appear in the hall, showing the celestial model of the entire solar system. And the scope of this celestial model is still expanding with the continuous operation of Red Star Number 1. Detect all alien spacecraft in the solar system, Li Qingyun ordered again, and then Red Star Number 1 began to operate further. In the solar system, new targets continue to appear. Those are the spacecrafts of the Teodi Legion that were once detected by Denner Satellite Number 3. However, compared to the photos taken by Denner Satellite Number 3, which only looked like red dots, this time Red Star Number 1 detected a complete on-site image. All the Teodi spacecrafts, not only their number, but also the model of each spacecraft, were observed clearly. In addition, the identity information and manpower configuration of most of the soldiers in the Teodi Corps are also being read by Red Star Number 1. The appearance of the celestial computer covers a star system within a range of less than 1 light year. It is easy to fully grasp its data. This ability, is this the celestial computer? Lian Feng looked at the information displayed on the virtual projection, and the whole person was excited. With this celestial computer, our monitoring and defense capabilities of the entire solar system will be greatly improved. Like the 2 previous invasions of the Teodi Corps, it will never happen again, Lian Feng said. The main reason why their Earth was attacked in Xi'an City was that they did not have the ability to accurately prevent and counterattack. Now, with Red Star Number 1, at least in terms of prevention, it can be foolproof. Although it is much better than Denner Satellite Number 3, it is still insufficient. Li Qingyun was not as excited as Lian Feng. Because, in this virtual projection, Li Qingyun could not see the traces of angels and demons. Demon Number 1 of the Demon Legion did not appear in the scope of prosecution. Even the group of angels who did not come here in a celestial spacecraft could not be detected. Although the scale and performance of Red Star Number 1 have reached the level of celestial computers, it is still insufficient. Red Star Number 1 is just the beginning of the entire Red Star series. If you want to truly reach the level of being able to compete with the celestial computers owned by angels, demons, and even the death god Karl, at least the entire subsequent series must be completed before it can be done, Li Qingyun said, and Lian Feng nodded continuously after hearing his words. Seeing the capabilities of Red Star Number 1 now, she has great trust in what Li Qingyun said about the follow-up. Even the future development of the entire Earth, Lian Feng feels that this will be better than what they originally did. With Red Star Number 1, other subsequent models can be manufactured naturally. My purple crystal will stay here for the time being. I will take it back after Red Star Number 1 is directly connected to the stellar energy. Now, I have to go back to the giant gorge first. Li Qingyun has confirmed that Red Star Number 1 can run smoothly. Next, he should go back to the giant gorge to upgrade Du Qiangwei's divine body, and then start preparing to manufacture the void controller with Jezailan. Do you want me to go back with you? Lian Feng put down the documents at hand and asked. Not for the time being, Li Qingyun shook his head. Red Star Number 1 has just started to operate. You stay here to get familiar with it. Later, you and Yukin will perform operations based on this Red Star Number 1. Yes, Lian Feng nodded in agreement. She really needs to study Red Star Number 1 carefully, so that she can better control it in future work. Chapter 235 Earth's Celestial Computer. Li Qingyun returned to the giant gorge, and the system of Red Star Number 1 also began to connect to the operating interface of the giant gorge. The Black Great Wall is the most confidential plane on Earth today. Because it is built by the technology of the Denner civilization, and the corresponding technology is provided by the Fiery Sun Star, even the demon army does not know the specific situation of the Black Great Wall. This is why, in the animation, even the giant gorge was blown up, but the Black Great Wall was never destroyed. Inside the giant gorge, Du Qiangwei, Jezailan, Sun Wukong, Lena, Dukeo and others were already waiting. In addition, a small spaceship landed on the deck. Next to the spaceship were Angel Yan and Angel Zixin. Finally I'm back. If it was a little later, we should have set off on our own. Angel Yan saw Li Qingyun flying quickly from a distance. Does Sister Yan really like him? Zixin asked. I don't know. Angel Yan shook her head. She herself couldn't figure out whether she liked Li Qingyun, but at least, she didn't want to accept Keisha's arranged marriage directly and be with Jezialin. Angel Yan now wants to be like an ordinary person, choosing one she likes based on her feelings, rather than one that matches her super genes better. Kesha once said that your super genes match Zhao Xin's super genes very well, but sometimes, feelings are more important than simple genetic perception. Angel Yan said that she had never thought about this problem before, because she felt that Kesha's arrangement must be the most suitable. But now, she feels that some things still need to be judged based on her feelings, rather than simply relying on the set route. Don't worry, I'm still young and don't need to think about these issues. Zhizhen really didn't think about these issues. At least now, she doesn't need to think about them. This time when you go to Fraser with Dukayang Wei, guide her more and let her lean towards our angels as much as possible. This will be of great benefit to establishing good communication and alliance between us and the Earth, Angel Yan reminded. Yet, Angel Zhizhen nodded, and at this time, Li Qingyun had already landed on the deck, in front of Dukeo and others. Deputy Commander, a group of people greeted Li Qingyun. Red Star number 1 has been successfully launched, but this system still needs to be hidden, so only a few special institutions in the country and the super soldiers of your Xiaongbing company can use it. Let's connect to the communication channel now. I'll pass the channel password to you, Li Qingyun said, and then began to send the password to enter the Red Star number 1 communication channel to every super soldier of Xiaongbing company in a secret communication. With a connection of communication, every super soldier of Xiaongbing company felt unprecedented smoothness at this moment, not only in terms of information, but more importantly, in terms of energy mobilization in their bodies. In the past, energy dispatch could only rely on their own super genes to dispatch, but at this moment, it can be supplemented by Red Star number 1. These super soldiers of Xiaongbing company will be more relaxed in battle than ever before. Is this the function of the astronomical computer? So powerful. Dukayang Wei felt this most clearly, because with the computing power provided by this astronomical computer, she would be more convenient than before when using micro wormholes to transport in the future, and the range of transportation would be greatly increased. Earlier in the Super God Academy, Reina had said that Dukayang Wei needed to upgrade to the 4th generation of Divine Body before she could move a powerful god like Reina. But if the computing power of Red Star number 1 is the basis, although Dukayang Wei cannot move it now, if she regenerates 1 level, she may be able to do it when she reaches the 3rd generation of Divine Body. Although Red Star number 1 is a celestial computer, its computing capacity is still not enough. It will not be able to truly reach the level of a celestial computer like a big clock until the computing system of the entire Red Star series is in place. Li Qingyun said this in the communication channel of Red Star number 1, and every super soldier in the hero company could hear it. Only a part of it has such ability? If all of it is completed, wouldn't it be against the will of heaven? Zhao's inside. Even if we have a celestial computer, the strength of the Earth is still very weak, and your role is still huge, so we are not allowed to slack off during training, Li Qingyun reminded. Yes, we will definitely work hard, Zhao Xin answered, and at the same time, every other super soldier in the hero company also agreed. Li Qingyun withdrew his attention from the communication channel and walked towards Dukayang Wei. You are about to go to Fraser. Before you leave, I need to upgrade your super gene level to improve your strength, Li Qingyun said. I know, Dukayang Wei nodded in agreement. Then, let's get started. After Li Qingyun finished speaking, he pointed his right hand at Dukayang Wei's forehead. Red Star number 1 had already made arrangements, and on Li Qingyun's way back, he completed the energy reserve. As for the upgrade plan for time and space rose, this was originally in the Black Great Wall. Dukayang Wei in the black armor was upgraded to the 3rd generation super soldier with the help of the Black Great Wall. Now Li Qingyun just brought all this forward, and upgraded her level again, from the 3rd generation super soldier to the 3rd generation divine body. As the energy continued to flow in, Dukayang Wei's super gene was also being upgraded. The golden light flickered, which was the effect of the star energy strengthening the super gene. When the light dissipated, Du Qiangwei raised her hands, looked at her hands, and felt the situation in her body at this time. Is it upgraded already? Jezailan was watching from the side, a little confused. It's just upgrading the divine body. How big a commotion do you want? Will the whole world change color and the wind and clouds change? Li Qingyun looked at Jezailan. He also had high expectations for this galactic power, but his performance always made people feel disappointed. If it weren't for the purpose of making the Void Controller later, it would really be the most appropriate to let Jezailan go to Fraser this time, because that would at least give him another opportunity to gain experience. Jezailan scratched his head awkwardly. Although it seems that there is no change, in fact, the energy and ability in my body have been greatly improved. This is an essential leap. Du Qiangwei's feelings about herself are the most real. Only she understands how much she has changed at this moment. There is not even a single recommendation vote today. Is this completely unpopular? Chapter 236, Creation of the Void Controller. Du Qiangwei has completed the upgrade of the third generation of Divine Body, and now her genetic level has been greatly improved. In addition, the binding of Red Star No. 1 has also greatly accelerated Du Qiangwei's wormhole computing ability, making it more convenient for her to apply her abilities. With this upgraded strength, Du Qiangwei's trip to Fraser is guaranteed. In addition to the improvement of her abilities and divine body, Li Qingyun also gave Du Qiangwei a set of information on familiarizing herself with and studying space-time genes. These materials are compiled based on the data of space-time genes recorded in the Big Clock, which should allow Du Qiangwei to master the ability of space-time genes faster. With all the help she could get, Du Qiangwei embarked on the journey to Fraser. However, the angel candidate that everyone in the Xiaongbing company thought was going to Fraser changed from Angel Yan to Angel Zixin. This change made everyone in the Xiaongbing company confused and made them feel a little wary. At the beginning, when Angel Yan came over and wanted Li Qingyun to go, it must have been Angel Yan who planned to go with him. But now that they know that Li Qingyun will not go, Angel Yan is not going either. Isn't it because of Li Qingyun that she stayed here? This is enough to show that Angel Yan came here because she had her eyes on Li Qingyun. Qiangwei has left, what should we do next? Sun Wukong came to Li Qingyun's side. What Angel Yan was thinking, even if they knew it now, they couldn't stop it, because there was no reason to stop such a thing. Follow the plan and do what needs to be done. Li Qingyun didn't think so much. Whether Angel Yan went to Fraser or not, it didn't matter to him. What he needed now was to complete the manufacture of the Void Controller first. Xiaolan, come with me, we will start making the Void Controller next. Li Qingyun called Xiaolan directly, and the two came to the center of the deck together. Next, Xiaolan and I will perform some very important operations. In the next few days, you must ensure our absolute safety. Li Qingyun entered the communication channel and gave orders to everyone in the Xiaongbing company at the same time. Do it take several days? Du Qiao asked. Yes, this is a huge project. Although we have Red Star No. 1 to assist Xiaolan, he is a newcomer after all. His knowledge and computing power in this area are not enough. The whole docking process will take at least 3 days, and during this period, we will not be able to make any other moves, Li Qingyun said. Since it is such a critical moment, why don't we go to the Black Great Wall to carry out it? The current Giant Canyon may not be so safe. Du Qiao knew very well that although the Giant Canyon gathered the strongest combat power on Earth, but in the same way, no matter whether it was angels, demons or death gods, all of them were staring at the Giant Canyon. My staying is a deterrent. If I am not here, I am afraid that they will take action in these 3 days, Li Qingyun said. But if they really want to act within these 3 days, can you stop? Du Qiao asked. Yes, but as long as I stop, everything will be torn down and started over again. They will immediately realize that my project cannot be disturbed, and they will continue to attack us when we want to do all this. By then, we will fall into a state of exhaustion and internal consumption. The situation will only get worse and worse. It's better to be afraid of thieves than to be afraid of thieves thinking about it. The first time, both sides were not clear, and they would still be afraid, but if they figured out the truth, they would not be able to proceed smoothly in the future. Wouldn't we be very passive? Du Qiao frowned. Once this started, they would fall into a very passive situation. Without Du Qiangwei, Li Qingyun, the strongest combat force, and Xiaolan could not act, and their combat effectiveness would be greatly weakened. We can only gamble now, betting that the Death God Karl does not know our situation, and betting that they will not take any action within 3 days, Li Qingyun said. This kind of thing requires taking risks, it's just a matter of the size of the risk. If it was after the war between gods, they could just find a safe place to hide and slowly make it, because then the god of death Karl and Morgana would not be as close to Li Qingyun and the Great Gorge as they are now. But now they have no idea when the war between gods will start, and what the result will be after the war. Li Qingyun can't just wait like this at this time, that would just be a waste of time. The command is temporarily handed over to you, you coordinate the order of the entire Great Gorge, and try to maintain the original state as much as possible, Li Qingyun said, and then he turned to face Jezailan. The next thing requires his full concentration, and Jezailan's full concentration. The void controller that Li Qingyun wants to make is not just the Xiongxin of Jezailan, but is a resynthesis based on Li Qingyun's understanding of the void and the anti-void, and the black hole engine and Jezailan's anti-void. In Li Qingyun's plan, once this void controller succeeds, its strength and function will far exceed the Xiongxin. When it is combined with the black hole engine, the effect it produces will certainly be even more powerful. Therefore, this time the void and anti-void docking will be more complicated and difficult than the one that Xiongxin and Jezailan conducted. Are you ready? Li Qingyun asked. Yes, Jezailan nodded firmly. Okay, let's synchronize the communication immediately. After Li Qingyun finished speaking, a burst of black light burst out from his eyes at this moment. At the same time, white light also emanated from Jezailan's eyes. These two lights are not very strong, but after they intersect each other in midair, they produce an extremely strange energy fluctuation. In just a moment, this fluctuation spreads to the surroundings, even to the entire Earth, and affects the space outside the Earth. This is a real attempt to rewrite the world. The laws of the entire universe seem to be fluctuating. As soon as the energy fluctuation spread, the Holy Kesha in the air and the Demon King Morgana in the space were the first to notice it. This energy fluctuation is even greater than expected, Yukin reminded. Lianfeng is still in the Black Great Wall, and Yukin is responsible for the key to the entire Juxia system. It can't be concealed. This movement will definitely attract the attention of angels and demons. Dukeo's face was solemn. He was originally worried that doing this would alarm angels, demons, and the god of death. But now, even if he hid in the Black Great Wall, the result would still be the same. This fluctuation, no matter where it is carried out, must be earth-shattering. Everyone, immediately enter the combat position. The entire army enters combat status. For the next 3 days, even if the sky falls, we must guard everything here. Dukeo gave a direct order, and in just a moment, the entire Juxia and the South China Sea Fleet were in action. No matter what, this time Li Qingyun and Jezailan must be directly asked to complete the manufacture of the Void Controller. They are very clear about the principle of making a strong effort, then declining, and finally exhausting it. It's about to enter the climax. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 237. This is the best time to take action. What on earth is going on in the sky? Holy Keisha frowned as she looked at the sudden energy fluctuations. Because, in this energy fluctuation, she sensed an energy that even she had to fear. It came from the giant gorge. Could it be that Li Qingyun and the others are doing something again? Angel Yan looked in the direction of the giant gorge. She had just returned not long ago, and could even be said to have just landed, but at this time, she suddenly felt such a strong energy impact. What earth-shattering thing did Li Qingyun do on the giant gorge? Take Fangxing and Yunayan with you to see what's going on, Keisha said, and as she finished her words, Angel Fangxing and Angel Yunayan walked behind Angel Yan. Yes, Angel Yan answered, and then spread her wings again and flew to the giant gorge again. She kept going back and forth between here and the giant gorge every day, and she didn't even have time to rest. At the same time, in a certain area outside the Earth's atmosphere, under the huge demon wings, in the Devil No. 1 celestial spaceship, the demon army was also investigating this incident with all their strength. Queen, from the energy analysis, this seems to be a form of energy similar to the quasi-void concept strike provided by the death god Karl, but the structure is more complex, Atai reported. They have spent a long time analyzing, and now they can only analyze this little. Death God Carl said that Li Qingyun has void technology, and the quasi-void concept strike designed to deal with him last time was directly ineffective. Afterwards, Death God Carl said that it was because the void technology possessed by Li Qingyun was more advanced than the strike concept he designed. This time, he is not researching some more advanced technology again, right? Morgana has realized that this energy fluctuation must be extraordinary. Contact Carl, he needs to know the situation here, Morgana said, and Atai immediately began to contact the Death Song Academy. In the Death Song Academy, Snow received the information from the demon army and immediately found the Death God Carl. You mean, there are abnormal void energy fluctuations on Earth? Death Carl raised his head and looked at Snow in front of him. This is the latest news from Morgana's Demon number 1, and some data they analyzed, Snow said, waving his hand to spread the data in front of Death Carl. Death Carl looked at the data in front of him and stood up immediately. Death Carl, who had spent tens of thousands of years studying the void, did not truly understand the nature of the void until the last 1,000 years, but in the data he saw in front of him, he clearly saw information that was even more amazing than his own research. This void technology is even more comprehensive than what I have studied, Death Carl exclaimed. As soon as he said this, Snow was shocked. You know, he has been with Death Carl for the longest time, and he is also the one who knows the details of Death Carl's research the most. It can be said that no one knows more about how deep Death Carl's attainments in the void field are than him. But now, Death Carl actually expressed his feelings that the void technology shown in this data is even more comprehensive than what he has studied. Go to Earth immediately. I'll give you the data access to the big clock. Go and detect the information of this energy fluctuation and send it back, as the Death God Carl spoke. He directly opened the space wormhole. Snow did not dare to neglect it. He went there at the fastest speed, and then stood in a hidden corner of the Earth and began to quickly collect relevant data. During the whole process of Li Qingyun and Jezzael synthesizing the void controller, this kind of energy fluctuation will continue to appear, so Snow can still collect detailed data information and send it back to the Death Song Academy through the big clock. Death God Carl in the Death Song Academy looked at the data that was constantly sent back and immediately saw a lot of information in it. Although he couldn't directly copy this information and imitate Li Qingyun to create a void controller, he could see from the overflowing energy how powerful this thing Li Qingyun was creating was. 2 hours later, Death God Carl was completely sure that what Li Qingyun was doing at the moment would definitely pose a fatal threat to him. And he also realized that this would be their last and only chance to realize his and Morgana's original plan. Lian Bing, we must immediately implement a plan to kill the gods against Holy Kisha. Death God Carl directly connected to Morgana's private communication channel. The two top gods were avoiding everyone's attention at this time and having a most confidential conversation. You want to attack Kesha now? Morgana asked. She understood what Death God Carl meant by saying this. You should be able to see how powerful the power of this Chaos God is in the last action against Li Qingyun, Death God Carl said, and his words made Morgana silent. The demon army launched a god-killing operation specifically against Li Qingyun, but Li Qingyun was completely unharmed after a whole set of attacks. Li Qingyun was so powerful that Morgana was almost helpless. I can be sure that Li Qingyun is currently upgrading some kind of void technology. Once this upgrade is completed, his strength will be further enhanced, and after the upgrade, Li Qingyun will probably be even stronger than he is now. He has always not wanted us to start a war on Earth, and he has said long ago that it is best for Earth for Kesha to be alive, so he will definitely intervene when we attack Holy Kisha. Death Carl made it clear. In their battle plan, they had to inevitably face a powerful opponent like Li Qingyun. This opponent could now become the key to subverting their entire plan. If he upgraded again and became stronger, it would be even more difficult for them to deal with him. I understand what you mean, but if we act now, we still have many problems that we cannot solve, Morgana said. Sun Wukong is on the Giant Gorge now, and we can't control Li Qingyun's strength. In addition, Keisha's left wing guard is still there. If we can't lure them away, we won't be able to execute our plan against Keisha smoothly. We can't deal with these three people at the same time now. Li Qingyun, Sun Wukong, and Angel Yan are all top-level combat forces, and they will interfere with their combat plan against Keisha. If we don't deal with these three people first, everything else will not be able to proceed. I was late for a few hours in the update this morning. Why did the data I subscribed to today drop directly? Chapter 238 The Demonic Army's All-Out Effort. Time passed quickly. Death God Carlin Morgana knew that Li Qingyun could not exist for a long time in his current state. But now, they still have three people they must deal with. Cassius Sacred Wings, the god of chaos and the fighting Buddha of the earth. These are all existences that they cannot ignore. The reason why Morgana asked Achuo to go to Fraser, in addition to training Achuo's ability, the most important thing is to lead away Cassius Sacred Wings. But now, they only led away the right wing guards, the left wing guards are still there, Li Qingyun and Sun Wukong are still there. The most important thing is that Sun Wukong and Li Qingyun are now on the Giant Canyon. If Sun Wukong is still in Huaguo Mountain, then Morgana can still use some means to temporarily trap him, but he is on the Giant Canyon, with all the super soldiers, and those means cannot be used. From the current situation, Li Qingyun should be unable to do anything, but I don't know how long this situation will last, Death God Carl said. The reason why he felt that now is the most appropriate time to take action is because of this. I can ask Snow to help delay Angel Yan, but the problem of Sun Wukong can only be solved by you. Death Carl has always been a student in the eyes of outsiders, and his most capable assistant is nothing more than Snow. Therefore, he can only send Snow to help at most. Deal with Sun Wukong, Morgana was thinking, who else under her command can compete with Sun Wukong? Queen, our current high-end combat power has obvious shortcomings. In addition to Sun Wukong, we should also consider Liu Chuang and Sultan. According to the data we have, they both have extremely strong combat power. There is a serious shortage of manpower, Atai reported. This situation is much worse than they imagined before they came. But it has come to this time. Even if the situation is bad, they can only find a way to deal with it. If you can't beat them individually, then go in a team. Although these are super warriors with god-level genes, they are still a group of newbies with limited combat experience. You who have been through hundreds of battles, can't you deal with them? Morgana was also angry. We demons are a cosmic civilization that has been able to fight angels for so many years and still remain strong. Now facing a nascent Earth civilization, we are still so stretched. If this gets out, how can I survive in the universe in the future? Morgana complained. Earth may be a nascent civilization, but the Super God Academy is not, Atai whispered. Morgana, who was originally sulking, became even more angry when she heard him say this. The three major god-making projects, Fighting Buddha, Time and Space Rose, Heart of the Earth, Spear of the Star of Da. There are only a dozen super warriors on this TM Earth, but half of them are top-level settings. Think about it carefully, one of them was provided by her, Morgana. The time and space gene of the time and space rose was researched by Morgana over tens of thousands of years when she was still in the mellow heaven. Once developed, it would be the top god. The super seminary is not a big force in the universe, but its profound foundation can be described as incredible. If it weren't for the last time in the Denner civilization, the super seminary's direct participation and intervention in the development of civilization led to the destruction of the Denner civilization, causing the super seminary to change its strategy. As for the current Earth, with the guidance of the super seminary for thousands of years, it is afraid that it would have developed into the top main god-level civilization in the universe. Call Zuyi over. At this time, there is no way to let her stay and watch. Morgana had no choice. Originally, she planned to let Zuyi stay in the Demon Galaxy to guard, but at this time, the Demon Legion is seriously lacking in top warriors, and Zuyi should be summoned. Yes, I will send a message to Zuyi and ask her to come as quickly as possible. Atai agreed, and then began to execute the operation and send a message to Zuyi in the Demon Galaxy. With Zuyi here, even if we can't kill Sun Wukong, it's enough to hold him back. The one Morgana trusts the most in the demon army is definitely Achuo, but in terms of strength, Zuyi will not lose to Achuo at all, and in some aspects, Zuyi will be stronger. At least stronger than Achuo, who has not yet fully achieved the divine body. In the early settings of the Super God Academy, Achuo became a god after Fraser. As for Thornton and Liu Chuang, you should plan these two people carefully and see if you can arrange for them and send them away directly, solve the most troublesome ones, and even if there are still tricky ones left, with the experience accumulated by the demon army for a long time, these demon warriors will definitely have ways to deal with them. After all, although there are not many famous ones in the demon army, like Achuo, Zuyi, and Black Wind Nightmare, there are still some who have reached the stage of high-level guardian angels. The one who appeared in Hero's Company 2 and helped Morgana to bear the sword of the Angel of Judgment looked strong, but his name was not in the animation. Yes, Queen. Atai nodded and agreed, and then he began to count the resources at hand. He had to formulate a complete battle plan based on the current situation on Earth. This time was not the same as the previous time against Li Qingyun. That time was just a small test. They were originally trying it out with a try-and-see attitude, and even if they failed, there would not be much loss. But this time, it will be the fifth war between angels and demons. If there are any mistakes in this battle plan, it will lead to another defeat of the entire demon army, and the result of such a defeat may very likely lead to the collapse of the entire demon army. If their queen, the demon king Morgana, also fell, it would be impossible for their demon army to recover as quickly as before. At the same time, Angel Yan, Angel Union and Angel Fangxing had all reached the edge of the giant gorge. Unlike before, this time, Angel Yan immediately attracted the attention of a group of super soldiers as soon as she appeared. Even Sun Wukong directly held a dark alloy rod and blocked them. It seems that you are indeed doing something very important here, Angel Yan said, and her eyes were already locked on Li Qingyun and Jezailan at the center of the deck of the giant gorge. Although from the outside, there seemed to be nothing wrong with the two people, but Angel Yan could clearly sense that the strange energy fluctuations were emanating from these two people. Chapter 239 The action begins. Angel Yan looked at the situation on the deck and understood that this incident must be of great significance to the Earth and the Xiongbenglian. It is not convenient for the Juxia to receive any visiting guests now, so you should go back first. Sun Wukong's attitude towards the angel was still good, but there must be no accidents on the Juxia today. Sometimes, the more defensive you are, the more people think there is an opportunity to take advantage of you, Angel Yan said. She herself didn't have to go in. Anyway, her purpose of coming here was just to observe what happened on the Juxia now. And the pictures that can be seen at present are enough to judge what Li Qingyun and Jezailan are doing. She is right. Sometimes, the more over-defensive you are, the more likely you are to be remembered by others. A voice suddenly appeared in Sun Wukong's mind. It was Li Qingyun's voice, but this voice was not transmitted through dark communication, but directly from his mind, in his consciousness. I can't stop the data connection now, so I can only communicate with you in this way. Moreover, my communication method can only be produced on people who don't resist, otherwise it will distract me, Li Qingyun explained, and Sun Wukong, who heard this, naturally understood that this was caused by some special ability that Li Qingyun possessed. The reason why only Sun Wukong could hear it was because Sun Wukong's defense against Li Qingyun was very low, so Li Qingyun could directly enter his mind. Come in. Sun Wukong put away the dark alloy rod and turned back to the giant gorge. Angel Yan hesitated a little, because she couldn't figure out why Sun Wukong's attitude suddenly changed. But since the other party had already opened the door, she might as well go in and learn more. She boarded the giant gorge and came to a distance from Li Qingyun. She didn't get too close, because that would attract the attention of other soldiers from the surrounding Xiongbenglian. What are they doing? Angel Yan looked at Li Qingyun in confusion. Even though she had already arrived here, she still couldn't see the whole picture. She had never encountered such a thing in her 7,000 years. They are doing an experiment. I can't tell you what it is. Under Li Qingyun's instruction, Sun Wukong gave Angel Yan the opportunity to come in. But this did not mean that he was willing to reveal all the information to Angel Yan. If you want to understand the situation, just watch here. I won't drive you away, but you can't go over to disturb them, Sun Wukong said, and then waved his hand to let Liu Chuang, Zhao Xin and Shen Yaowen come over and directly block Li Qingyun and Jezailan. As for Sun Wukong, he had to go find Du Kao. Some things had to be told to him in advance so that he could be prepared. In the half an hour after Sun Wukong left, Angel Yan had been standing here. She tried to observe by various means, but she kept the bottom line that Sun Wukong told her, that is, not to interfere with Li Qingyun and Jezailan. Sister Yan, you still can't see anything. Angel Union came to Angel Yan and asked in confusion. What they are doing is beyond my cognition. Apart from Queen Kisha, perhaps only Zhixin can see it among us, Angel Yan replied. Zhixin? Angel Fangxing looked at Angel Yan in surprise. Although Zhixin is young, she likes to study, and she is very talented in this area, Angel Yan said. Yes, although Zhixin is young. Her strength is the strongest among us, and only you can beat her in actual combat, Angel Union sighed, and Angel Fangxing nodded silently. Angel Xiaxin is only 500 years old, but he has become the right-wing guard of Holy Kisha, and this is recognized by every soldier in the Angel Legion. If he didn't have 2 brushes, how could he achieve such a level? I actually heard her mention the view of the void under the sky of the dark matter plane, but these views conflict with Queen Keisha's concept of justice and order, so Xiaxin did not continue to study it in depth, and now seeing what the 2 of them are doing, I feel that this is consistent with Xiaxin's view at the time. Angel Yan could not understand what Li Qingyun and Jezailan were doing, but she could still sense something. At least she could be sure that it was something about the void. At the beginning, she brought the information that she was suppressed by the void back to Mellow Heaven, and then Keisha ordered the Angel Court to study ways to fight against it. Although this method was developed by He Zai and eventually implemented for every angel warrior. But when He Zai was researching, Xiaxin was by his side. When the master and apprentice were discussing, Angel Yan also heard part of the content, so he knew how much influence Xiaxin had in it. You 2 go back first and tell Queen Keisha about the situation here. I have to stay here for a while and observe more, Angel Yan said. Are you staying alone? Yunnan asked, and her eyes fell around at the same time, looking at the super soldiers of the Xiangbinglian who locked onto them from time to time. There is no actual conflict between the angels and the Xiangbinglian. As long as I don't do anything, they shouldn't do anything to me, Angel Yan said, and then lowered his voice and said to Fang Xing, Kesha has observed that the demon army seems to be a little strange. We are short of manpower now. You are the angel pioneer. Kesha hopes you can lead the team to investigate. There are only a dozen people in the angel army who came to Earth this time. Now Xiaxin has gone to Fraser, and Angel Yan has to stay here to observe the situation at any time. Angel Zhu and Angel Leng need to stay with Keisha. Only Fang Xing can perform the reconnaissance mission. Understood, Angel Fang Xing agreed, and then looked at Angel Yunayan, and then spread their wings together, leaving the giant gorge and returning to where Keisha was. At the same time, in a certain area in China, the Demon One gradually showed its figure, and the huge celestial spacecraft immediately attracted the attention of the world. The Chinese Supreme Command knew about the situation immediately and sent an order directly to the giant gorge, hoping that the heroic company could send a team to investigate. The Demon Legion was really going to take action this time. Li Qingyun, who was in the giant gorge, had read the relevant situation through Sun Wukong's thoughts. He knew all this, but at this time, he could not do much. He could only convey his meaning through Sun Wukong and Qilin, 2 people who were defenseless against him. Chapter 240 The Devil's True Target. The 5th war between angels and demons is about to begin, and this time, our Earth is likely to be affected first. Li Qingyun passed this information to the people of Xiangbinglian through Sun Wukong. At this moment, Sun Wukong, Dukeo, and Lina were all in the conference room. Devil number 1 has appeared, and we can observe that there is a constant flow of energy gathering. The demon army must be planning something, Dukeo said. Now that Red Star number 1 has officially been launched, with the observation of Denner satellite number 3 in the sky, they can have a more accurate observation and control of the situation on Earth. This is intentional. The purpose is to make us send people to investigate, Sun Wukong said, and these words were naturally told to him by Li Qingyun. Through the factors possessed by the supergiant, Li Qingyun has the ability to enter other people's minds and even control their thoughts. Li Qingyun now has to spend most of his energy on the synthetic void controller. He has no way to communicate directly with everyone in the form of secret communication, so he can only find 1 or 2 people who are not so wary of him, and then do all this through this method of entering their minds. In the current Xiangbinglian, there are not many people who can allow Li Qingyun to enter their minds. Sun Wukong is upright and has a good relationship with Li Qingyun, so he dares to let Li Qingyun enter his mind. Qilin has a special feeling for Li Qingyun, so Li Qingyun can naturally enter. In addition, there is Sultan. This fool is loyal to Li Qingyun, but it is precisely because of his foolishness that Li Qingyun wants him to convey information to him, which is a little unreliable. As for the other super soldiers in Xiangbinglian, they will trust Li Qingyun, but they will not allow Li Qingyun to enter their minds, especially those like Lina, Chang Yaowen and Liu Chuang. They either came from an alien planet and had many secrets hidden in their hearts, or there were many special restrictions in their super genes, and they themselves had not developed their genes enough and could not fully master them, so they would not allow anyone to enter their minds. Even if they were allowed to enter, they would instinctively have many thoughts of resistance. And these thoughts would also affect Li Qingyun, who is now spending most of his energy on the synthesis of the Void Controller, and his move to enter their minds. If Lao Li had not informed us in this way, would you have planned to send Liu Chuang and others to investigate immediately? Sun Wukong looked at Dukeo. Well, I originally planned to let Liu Chuang, Qilin, Rui Mengmeng and He Whelan drive a helicopter to investigate. Dukeo nodded and answered. There was no super soldier who could act independently in the current Xiaongbing company, but with Liu Chuang's ability, combined with Qilin's long-range sniping ability, and the assistance of Rui Mengmeng and He Whelan, they should be able to deal with some situations. According to Lao Li's inference, if you really arranged it this way, then as soon as these 4 people get close to Demon number 1, they will be ambushed immediately. Even if they are lucky enough not to die, they will be completely suppressed in that area and it will be difficult for them to withdraw. It means that we will directly lose these 4 powerful fighters, Sun Wukong said, and his words were translated according to the hints given by Li Qingyun in his mind. This, Dukeo hesitated. Losing 4 powerful fighters at this time would be a big loss for them. Then should we do nothing? Lena asked in confusion. Since the demon army has already taken action, I'm afraid we have to go this time, Sun Wukong said. But knowing that it is a trap, but still sending people there, isn't this equivalent to giving it away for free? Lena asked again. Devil number 1 appeared directly in our territory. As a military established Xiaongbinglian, we have the responsibility to defend our territory. At this time, if the other party makes some actions that threaten the safety of ordinary citizens, then we must take action, because this involves the original intention and principle of the establishment of Xiaongbinglian, Sun Wukong replied. That's right. At this time, we can't do nothing. Dukeo agreed with what Sun Wukong said at this moment. As a soldier, it is his duty to defend the territory and the people. What does the deputy commander think about this matter? Lena looked at Sun Wukong. Now he is the one who is passing on the message to Sun Wukong. Old Li's idea is to let Liu Chuang, Rui Mengmeng and Su Dun go directly as the vanguard to investigate, and Qilin, He Whelan and Zhao Xin stay behind and keep a certain distance. In this way, even if they are ambushed, the people who stay outside can quickly stop the counterattack, and then directly break the encirclement with internal and external forces. In addition, we should directly contact the Angel Fangxing who went to investigate and let them act together with our team. This will enhance the combat capability of the team and make the ambush of the enemy much more difficult. Sun Wukong explained Li Qingyun's views on the matter. We were originally worried that Liu Chuang and the other 4 would weaken our combat power, so why did they send 6 directly this time? Also, are those angels willing to cooperate with our people? Dukeo asked. He did not have a high degree of trust in the angels. Angel Yan is on the giant gorge now. You can contact her immediately and tell her about this situation so that she can help promote the alliance. As for the problem of losing combat power, although the 6 people sent out will be ambushed, it is impossible for the demon army to attack multiple sides at the same time and achieve results at the same time. As long as Liu Chuang can quickly break the blockade, they can quickly turn around and become a support from the outside to the inside when the giant gorge is attacked. Since Li Qingyun came to the Super God universe, he has actually been thinking about how to fight this war between gods and gods. The war between angels and demons will definitely deal with his Xiaongbing company first. Let alone other things, just Rena, the light of the sun, is something that Morgana and the god of death Karl must get. Because only Rena can launch a supernova, and in the research of the god of death Karl and Morgana, only a means of destruction of this magnitude can destroy the holy Kisha. Therefore, the key and most critical issue now is actually how to defend Rena, the Doomsday Killer. Sun Wukong felt what Li Qingyun was conveying at this moment. He turned his head and stared at Rena. Rena, who was still thinking about the problem of Liu Chuang's team, was now at a loss. Why did Sun Wukong suddenly look at him with such eyes? Chapter 241. Something is wrong. Rena, you are the key to the whole incident, Sun Wukong said. His words immediately attracted Dukeo's attention, and he also locked his eyes on Rena at this time. You are the light of the sun, you have the top destructive power in the universe. If they want to destroy Keisha with a sacred body, they will definitely find a way to control you. Sun Wukong looked at Rena, and Rena was confused when she heard this. Control me? How are they going to control me? Rena said puzzledly. Through mind control, according to Lao Li. The devil tried to control your and Shen Yaowen's dreams a few months ago, so as to create a gap between you and even hostility, but he noticed this at the time, So he directly invaded the other party in the form of mental invasion, causing the other party to suffer heavy damage, Sun Wukong said, and when Reina heard his words, she suddenly remembered that she did have a dream that was disturbed a few months ago, but the situation at that time only appeared for a short while, and then quickly disappeared, so she didn't take it seriously. Now it seems that it was because Li Qingyun discovered it in time that he interrupted the other party. This time, Lao Li can't be distracted to protect you. You can only rely on yourself. No matter what, when facing the invasion of Black Wind, you must guard your own thinking and avoid being controlled, Sun Wukong reminded, but for some reason, he didn't feel much confidence. Not only Sun Wukong, but even Li Qingyun, who conveyed this information to Sun Wukong, felt the same way. Although Reina is the main god of Liang Star, she is just a girl in her early 20s after all. She has power, but her mind is really too poor. If she really suffered multiple attacks in succession like in the original book, causing her energy level to decrease and her energy to be insufficient, then Black Wind should still succeed. Wukong, it seems that I can only rely on you, Li Qingyun said in Sun Wukong's mind. Once the battle really starts in these 2 days, you must stay by Reina's side no matter what. As long as she doesn't suffer too many blows, causing a large amount of energy consumption in her body, the mental control of Nightmare Black Wind should not be effective on her, Li Qingyun reminded. I'll try to keep an eye on her, Sun Wukong replied. The safety of Reina is related to the core of the entire battle situation. Sun Wukong now knows this clearly, so he will naturally try his best to protect Reina. Now, let's take action. We must contact Angel Fangxing before they go to Devil Number 1 for investigation, Li Qingyun said, and Sun Wukong immediately conveyed this idea to Du Kao. Du Kao began to make arrangements. First, he asked Liu Chuang to lead the team to Devil Number 1, and then asked Zhao and Wei Ying to ambush in the command room, just beside Yukin. According to Li Qingyun's suggestion, this time the demon army's attack not only wants to take Reina away, but also Yukin, so they must arrange personnel in advance to ensure Yukin's safety. On the deck, Cheng Yaowen, Zhao Zhen, Zhao and Su Xiaoli took over to guard around Li Qingyun and Zhe. Sun Wukong and Reina are now the 2 strongest forces on the Giant Gorge, but they will also be the most unstable factors. The main target of the demon army is Reina. Although Cheng Yaowen and Zhao Zhen are guarding Li Qingyun and Zhe, they are actually keeping an eye on Reina. In Li Qingyun's words, if the demon army takes the initiative to interrupt Li Qingyun's state when launching an attack, then they are wasting this rare opportunity. Because once Li Qingyun is interrupted, Li Qingyun can join the battle, and the role of one Li Qingyun is comparable to that of the entire Iongbing company. Therefore, Morgana and the demon army should not choose to attack Li Qingyun, at least not before their combat objectives are achieved. Why do you suddenly look like you are facing a great enemy? Angel Yan is on the Giant Gorge at this time. The combat arrangement of the entire Giant Gorge has been completely disrupted. In addition, Sun Wukong has just taken the initiative to find her and asked her to contact Angel Fangxing and let Angel Fangxing's team and Liu Chuang's team act together. All of this reveals weirdness. The war is about to begin, and the first wave of attacks may very likely be here. Sun Wukong held a dark gold rod and looked at the distant sea and the distant sky. This war between gods will eventually unfold on Earth. The process of Li Qingyun upgrading the Void Controller has become a critical opportunity for the demons to launch a war of killing gods. Knowing that the war is coming, why don't you let your Chaos God stop this upgrade? Angel Yan looked back at Li Qingyun. With his Chaos God, Morgana has no confidence in defeating the heroic soldiers of the Earth. Why don't they let Li Qingyun stop? Or why doesn't Li Qingyun stop himself? Is it really so important to upgrade a technology at this time? Alarm, alarm. Large-scale energy changes have been detected. Large-scale energy changes have been detected. The communication link with Liu Chuang's team ahead is completely interrupted. Global network communication is interrupted, and Danner satellite number 3 is in a stage where it cannot be docked. A large amount of dark energy fluctuations have been detected. All units immediately enter combat positions and are ready to fight at any time. On the Giant Gorge, all alarms suddenly sounded, and an urgent notification sounded in the communication system. Sun Wukong clenched the dark alloy rod in his right hand, and Reina also summoned her shield and a tang sword. Li Qingyun had warned them of everything long ago, but at this moment, all this really happened, and they still had to guard against it. What's going on? Angel Yan looked at the scene in front of her in surprise. She didn't expect that Sun Wukong had just finished speaking, and there would be a real battle. Queen Qixia, Angel Yan tried to contact Holy Qixia. Stay on the Giant Canyon and protect Li Qingyun. Qixia's voice came, but the order was for her to stay and protect Li Qingyun. Morgana knew that you were on Earth but still started this war. I'm afraid her real goal is not just the Earthlings. Angel Yan knew in her heart that it would be absolutely unreasonable for such a war to occur under such circumstances if it was only against the Earth side. Morgana and Carl joined forces to kill me on Earth, Qixia said, but there was no worry in her tone. Queen Qixia, you don't want to follow my orders and ignore the rest, Qixia interrupted Angel Yan. In addition, I will cancel your engagement with Jezailan, and the same applies to Zhaoxin and Zhaozin. You can find someone who is truly suitable for you in the future according to your own ideas. After saying that, Qixia directly cut off the communication. No, I can't. Angel Yan spread her wings. She wanted to return to Qixia, even if Qixia had given her an order. However, just when she was about to fly, a red light directly cut through the space and appeared in front of her. Chapter 242 Dabaran vs Wei Ying and Li Fifei. A beam of red light shot directly at Angel Yan's forehead. She originally felt that everything was so strange, and she wanted to return to Holy Qixia immediately, but now she had to stop and use the flaming sword in her hand to block the red light. The sound of metal collision rang out, and a black bullet fell down. God Killer number 1, looking at the bullet that fell on the deck, Angel Yan immediately recognized what type it was. However, she didn't have time to think about it, and more attacks began to appear continuously. One by one, the God Killer number 1 bullets were shot at Angel Yan, Sun Wukong, Cheng Yaowen, Lina, and even Dukeo. This wave of the demon army was to directly weaken the combat effectiveness of the entire Giant Canyon and consume as much energy and physical strength as possible from the super soldiers. Dukeo is under attack. Dukeo is under attack. Start emergency remote treatment. In the operations center, Yukin immediately began to operate, and through remote energy transmission, she provided emergency protection for Dukeo. Suddenly, a wormhole appeared in the operations center, and red bullets immediately shot out from it. But at the moment when it fired the first bullet, a silver arrow suddenly cut through the space, flew out from a hidden corner, and shot directly to the location of the wormhole. On the other side of the wormhole, a demon holding a sniper rifle was originally planning to kill directly. His target was Yukin. Everyone knows that the nurse should be killed first in a team fight. If Yukin is not dealt with, it will be difficult for any other super soldier to be killed. But Li Qingyun knew that this situation would occur long ago, and Sun Wukong arranged Wei Ying and Li Fifei here early. Now the demon has just fired the first shot, and Wei Ying raised his hand and fired a crossbow of the God Killer. The demon didn't even have time to walk out of the wormhole, and was shot through the chest by the crossbow of the God Killer, and fell to the ground. What's going on? Morgana was stunned. The enemy seemed to know our deployment in advance, and specially arranged 2 super soldiers to guard Yukin. Our people couldn't get close at all, Atai reported. Li Qingyun, it must be this Li Qingyun again. Morgana almost subconsciously associated all this with Li Qingyun. This bitch likes to do these things the most. I feel like he can predict the future, Morgana thought of the first time she met Li Qingyun. At that time, she had just arrived on Earth, and Li Qingyun was sitting in a small restaurant with a swagger, chewing a big pig's hoof with a stupid crocodile. What should we do now? If the enemy keeps protecting Yukin like this, our plan will be disrupted, Atai said. Their original plan was to capture Yukin first, so that the Giant Gorge would lose this most important medical officer, and at the same time use Yukin as bait to lure Zhaozin to take action, and use Zhaozin's powerful impact to instantly knock Rina away, and then continue to consume Rina's energy. But now, the first step of the plan has not succeeded. How to execute the rest? Use the heaven punishment bombing to kill him, Morgana said. Should we pay attention to controlling the energy limit? Atai asked. Is the nuclear restriction order issued by Li Qingyun still there? Although the demon army didn't care much, they knew very well that if they really did it, Li Qingyun would go crazy and cause them huge trouble. They were not willing to do something that was not worth a loss. It's okay, that was on the sea, and we were fighting a military confrontation, and it wouldn't affect civilians. He had no reason to launch the so-called nuclear restriction order to retaliate against us, Morgana waved her hand. She knew Li Qingyun's bottom line. He was fine the last time he launched the heaven punishment bombing. Obviously, This nuclear restriction order was only used in civilian areas or for large-scale attacks that would have a huge impact on the Earth's ecology. For example, atomic bombs, the fierce tide of Teoti, and Raina's large-scale flare bombing. The problem is, if the Heaven's Punishment bombardment is released inside the cabin, it will probably destroy the entire Grand Canyon. At that time, Li Qingyun will definitely be disturbed, and he may forcefully stop what he is doing now, A-Tai reminded. The key to their attack this time is that Li Qingyun and Jezailan cannot be distracted. If Li Qingyun is forcibly interrupted, he will not be able to do what he wants to do, but what the demons want to do will also be interrupted. Because Li Qingyun's strength is enough to subvert their entire strategic deployment. So, now we can only bite the bullet and attack other super soldiers when Yukon is not controlled, Morgana asked, and A-Tai was confused when he heard her question. These are super soldiers, and they are a group of super soldiers with long-range treatment. As long as they are not killed, they can recover in minutes. How can they fight this battle when the nurse is not controlled? Let Deboran go. With his body, he won't die even if he is hit by 2 rounds of the god-killing crossbow. Just rush in and at least interrupt their long-range treatment, Morgana gave the order directly, and A-Tai could only hurry to execute the operation. In the control room of the giant gorge, the wormhole appeared again, and this time, Li Fifei directly blocked Yukon. Wei Ying held the god-killing crossbow and looked ahead. As long as she found anything abnormal on the other side of the wormhole, she would immediately launch an attack. The reason why she didn't attack directly was naturally because Li Qingyun had said when training them before that if the wormhole could not accurately determine its connection position, it must not be attacked rashly. Because sometimes the damage you hit may directly hit yourself or your teammates. Suddenly, a huge red monster rushed out of the wormhole directly. It was Deboran who was subdued by Morgana not long ago. It waved its claws and grabbed Li Fifei directly. Li Fifei could only cross her sword with both hands to block the monster's attack. At the same time, Wei Ying turned sideways, and with a snap, she shot a silver arrow from the god-killing crossbow in her hand, which directly nailed the Dabalan's chest. However, Dabalan's body was too big, and although the god-killing crossbow caused damage to it, it failed to penetrate its heart at once, and it was not fatal. The surviving Dabalan just slapped Wei Ying away with a backhand, and hit her hard against the wall. Then, Dabalan stepped on the control console in front of Li Fifei and Yukon with 1 foot. With a bang, the entire control console was crushed to pieces, and all the instruments failed at this moment. "You monster!" Li Fifei shouted angrily, and her body rushed forward, and the longsword in her hand pierced Dabalan's thigh. And blood gushed out immediately. Chapter 243 Red Star Number 1 vs Devil Number 1. Dabalan's strong attack instantly broke the situation in the control room. All the operating instruments failed. Yukon lost contact with the outside world and could not observe the situation outside. Her remote treatment could not be used in a short time. The control room was attacked, General Du Kiao was shot, and the Deputy Commander-in-Chief could not be distracted at the moment. "Please ask Sun Wukong to take over the on-site command, Captain of the Juxia. Please go to the command center to reorganize the command." The report of the Juxia was still ringing. With the support of the communication system of the Red Star Number 1, the current state of the entire South China Sea Fleet was not developing like the original animation. "Wukong, you don't need to pay attention to other things, just remember one thing, protect Reina." Li Qingyun's voice appeared in Sun Wukong's mind. "In this situation, we are very passive," Sun Wukong said. He did not leave Reina's side, but he was observing everywhere. He even summoned his clone, and attacked the 2 wormholes that had appeared on the left and right. However, the 2 wormholes were not connected to a certain position in the demon's wings, but to the top of the other 2 destroyers of the South China Sea Fleet. Fortunately, they did not blindly launch artillery attacks, otherwise the 2 destroyers would have suffered heavy damage. The Demon Legion has always been very good at tactical manipulation of wormholes. Your giant gorge has long been within their calculations. Now you have no ability to compete with the Demon Number 1. You can't win this battle, Angel Yan said. She was on the giant gorge and didn't just watch. She had taken action many times to help destroy the wormholes that appeared. "If we can't win, do we have to let them attack?" Zhao Xin asked. At this moment, every super soldier on the giant gorge was as anxious as he was, because they could only passively defend, but could not do anything at all. With the ability of Red Star Number 1, Red Star number 1 can analyze the situation on the other side of the wormhole, and you should respond according to the situation, Li Qingyun reminded, and Sun Wukong didn't remember the Red Star number 1 that they had just installed not long ago until this moment. He immediately informed every super soldier of the situation. At the same time, Lianfeng, who was in the Black Great Wall, had also officially come online. Juxia, this is the Black Great Wall, I am Lianfeng. When Li Qingyun returned to Juxia, he specifically left Lianfeng in the Black Great Wall so that she could be familiar with the application and control of the functions of Red Star number 1. And now, it is time for Lianfeng to play her role. Can you contact Liu Chuang's team? Sun Wukong was first concerned about Liu Chuang's side, where there were 6 super soldiers. If they could return to defend at this time, it would be a huge help for them. The communication near Demon number 1 has been completely blocked. Even the communication system of Red Star number 1 cannot get in touch with it for the time being, Lianfeng replied. Can't get in touch? Sun Wukong's face sank. Even I can't get in touch with Fangxing. How can you get in touch with Liu Chuang and the others? Angel Yan was also worried at this time. She asked Angel Fangxing to investigate Demon number 1, but now Angel Fangxing is completely trapped there. The communication system of the Demon number 1 is also of celestial level. It is under mandatory control within a certain range. The Red Star number 1, which is also of celestial level, cannot forcibly destroy it, Lianfeng answered. Now, I will monitor the situation of the giant gorge in real time through the Red Star number 1. You can counterattack according to my instructions. While Lianfeng was speaking, the Red Star number 1 was already monitoring the situation of the entire giant gorge in real time. The communication in the area near the Demon number 1 could not be established, but the giant gorge, which was also remotely monitored, could not be forcibly blocked by the Demon number 1. It was originally very difficult for celestial computers of the same level to destroy each other's communication channels. Pay attention to the sky above Reina, a wormhole is appearing, and huge energy is detected in the wormhole. It is suspected that a large wave of attacks is brewing, Lianfeng reminded. At the same time, Reina and Sun Wukong both raised their heads and looked up. The gradually deformed space, anyone could understand that there was an attack coming. Wukong, be careful of Reina's left side. There is a sniper. Lianfeng's voice fell, and a red light suddenly appeared on Reina's left side, aiming at Reina's feet. Sun Wukong's speed was faster than that red light, and the dark alloy rod quickly extended, just blocking the red light. A god-killing number 1 bullet was directly blocked. Zhaozhen, there is a wormhole at 3 o'clock, and there is a gunner on the other side of the wormhole. Shoot him down. Zhaozhen did not hesitate at all. He had been waiting for an opportunity to take action. Now that he heard Lianfeng's order, he naturally rushed out at the first time, and the spear in his hand turned into a flash of lightning. It was a little cold light that came first, and then the gun came out like a dragon. The gunner on the other side of the wormhole, who was originally planning to sneak attack Reina, was stabbed down by Zhaozhen's gun. Hurry up and get out. Once the wormhole is closed, you will be trapped in the demon wings, Lianfeng reminded. Zhaozhen killed the demon gunner and withdrew immediately. Yao Wen, use your ability to attack the area 15 meters to the left of the giant gorge. There is a wormhole forming there. Cheng Yaowen heard the command and clenched his hands into fists. Under the sea, a huge fist made of stone flew up and hit the wormhole. The solution of wormholes is limited by the environment. Different algorithms are required in different environments, and the algorithms inside objects are more difficult than normal. The fist made of huge stones hid and the wormhole was naturally solved. The heavenly punishment bomb is coming, Angel Yan reminded, and then saw a huge blue light column falling from the sky and landing at the location where Reina was. Reina had been prepared for a long time. She took out her shield and blocked it directly. As the light of the sun, Reina's power in terms of energy is definitely strong enough. The attack of the heavenly punishment bomb is very strong, but at this moment, Reina raised her shield and blocked it directly. The subsequent explosion directly pushed the energy of the heavenly punishment bomb back in the opposite direction. The right hand summoned a golden light and shot it directly in the direction of the wormhole. On the demon wings in the distance, a strong explosion broke out in a room, and the entire room was completely blown up. An attack window of the heavenly punishment bombing was directly destroyed. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 244, Hunter Blade User Zhu Yi. What's going on? How come all the wormholes have been discovered? Morgana asked in confusion. At this moment, her expression was not good. Not only was Reina's counterattack shocking her, but she was also surprised that multiple wormholes were discovered. The enemy seems to be able to detect our wormholes and investigate the conditions inside them, Atai said. Our attacks on Reina were blocked many times. Reina easily withstood our sky punishment bombing without any injuries. If it continues like this, our original plan to weaken Reina's energy and let Black Wind control her body will not be implemented. Atai reminded them that the most critical goal of their battle was to control Reina, but now Reina was still uninjured, so it was impossible to control her. Can the other party accurately calculate the location of our wormhole and detect the situation inside our wormhole? To do all this, at least a celestial-level computer is needed. When did Earth have a celestial-level computer? Isn't there back-end computing support the so-called Denner satellite number 3? Morgana was already confused. The computing system of the Demon number 1 could only compete with that of the Holy Kisha and her Skyblade series. The computing systems of other civilizations could not achieve such a level. Maybe there were some errors in the intelligence we collected in the past, Atai replied. It's possible, Morgana nodded. After all, a chaos god with a 4th-generation divine body suddenly appeared on Earth, and it was not surprising that he could secretly create a celestial-level computer. Zhu Yi, go ahead. As long as you can lead Sun Wukong away, the next thing will be easy. Morgana turned around and looked at a female demon with long gray-brown hair and a pair of horns on her head who had been standing not far away. In this Demon number 1, all demons are male, except for this Zhu Yi, who is different. Like Morgana, she was once born in the angel family, but she was conquered by Morgana for some reason and became a capable general under Morgana. It's just that she had been staying outside to perform tasks before. If it weren't for the lack of their high-end combat power in this operation on Earth, Morgana would not have summoned Zhu Yi. Don't worry, Queen, it's just a monkey. I will definitely deal with him, Zhu Yi said, while casually drawing a long sword. As a top warrior in the demon army, he has always been a hunting blade user who has been training with the Demon King Morgana as an example. Don't be so proud of yourself. Do you think that the fighting god specially developed by the instructor of the super seminary will be so easy to deal with? Morgana felt a little headache about her adjutant. Zhu Yi's ability is not bad, but she is too arrogant. Therefore, Morgana has kept her on serious side for the past 4,000 years, hoping that she can restrain herself. Unexpectedly, after so long, this guy is still like this, and has not improved at all. Our plan cannot fail this time. This is related to whether we can snipe Holy Kesha on Earth. You must not be careless. Morgana's tone became heavy. Yes, Queen. Zhu Yi saw that Morgana's tone had changed, and she did not dare to be too arrogant. She could only adjust her mentality and then go to the designated combat position. With the appearance of a wormhole, Zhu Yi rushed out directly, and the longsword in her hand swung out instantly. A sharp ice peak formed in front of her and smashed towards the position where Reina was. Sun Wukong has been paying attention to Reina's situation. His mission today is to ensure Reina's safety. Seeing the ice peak appear, Sun Wukong flew up directly, and the dark alloy rod in his hand became thicker, like a huge tree stump, and smashed directly on the ice peak. In just a moment, the ice peak shattered into countless ice chips, falling on the deck and the sea. You dead monkey, I'm looking for you. Seeing Sun Wukong appear and block her attack, Zhu Yi did not feel the slightest displeasure, but was full of eagerness to try. For her, the most important thing in this life is to prove her strength and value to Morgana, but Morgana asked her to take action today, but she kept reminding her to be careful with Sun Wukong. She said that Sun Wukong was a top warrior, specially created by some instructor of the Super God Academy, and was a fighting god. Therefore, she had to defeat Sun Wukong and severely injure Reina so that Queen Morgana's battle plan could proceed smoothly. She must become the biggest contributor to this god-killing battle and make Queen Morgana look at her with new eyes. You demons, don't want to show off your power on my territory. Sun Wukong was directly suspended in the air, and the dark alloy stick in his hand was pointed directly at Zhu Yi, but his eyes were quietly looking at Reina below. This man is the lieutenant of the Demon King. His strength far exceeds that of the average third-generation demon. You should be careful. This was Li Qingyun's reminder to Sun Wukong, and when he issued this reminder, Li Qingyun's tone was obviously more solemn. In Li Qingyun's original idea, the current strength of the demon army must not be as strong as in the original book. After all, Sodden had been recruited by Li Qingyun in advance, and Kesha's sacred right-wing guard Xiaxin was not left at the Dead Song Academy. The demon army's combat mission this time must be aimed at Holy Kesha, and to deal with Kesha, the Holy Wings must be restrained in advance, otherwise the combat power of these two top third-generation angels is enough to change the entire battle situation. Fraser's sword demon Achuo attracted Xiaxin away, but Angel Yan is still here, and at this moment on the Giant Canyon. Even if the opponent really has a backup plan, it must be kept to deal with Angel Yan. But now, they have found Zhu Yi, the hunting blade user Zhu Yi who originally returned to the demon army after Morgana's death, and her target is Sun Wukong. Zhu Yi, Angel Yan saw Zhu Yi's appearance, and an angry expression appeared on his face. There are not many people in the demon army who can be remembered by the angels, and Zhu Yi is obviously one of them. Accept my life, Angel Yan flew out directly, with red flames burning on the flaming sword. She wanted to kill this demon who had killed many angel sisters on the battlefield. Hey, isn't this Angel Yan? Want to avenge your sisters? Zhu Yi smiled when she saw Angel Yan, and her eyes were full of mockery. You have been hiding for 4,000 years. This time I will make you pay with blood, Angel Yan said, swinging the long sword, and was about to attack Zhu Yi. However, Zhu Yi did not dodge at all, but said coldly, "It's a pity that your opponent today is not me." Chapter 245 Snow takes action and the battle turns. As Zhu Yi finished speaking, a cloud of purple mist suddenly appeared beside her, followed by a huge sickle, which slashed towards the position where Angel Yan was. Angel Yan's original goal was to lock on Zhu Yi, but facing such an attack, she had to take it seriously. The original attack was changed to defense, and Angel Yan quickly retreated with the force of being attacked. After stabilizing her body and seeing who was coming, the anger on her face became more obvious. Snow, the one holding the sickle was Snow, the most capable subordinate of the Death God Karl. All along, the Death God Karl regarded himself as a scholar, and the only army under his command could be called an army, and its overall level was just the aerospace-grade technology level. But in recent times, the Death God Karl has gradually revealed his true colors. First, Li Qingyun reminded the angels that the Death God Karl had collected and studied data related to their super genes, and also developed a method of void suppression. Now, the only general under the Death God Karl has appeared here in person. It seems that your God of Death Karl doesn't want to act anymore. Seeing Snow appear here, God of Death Karl's attitude on this matter is very clear. He has given up hiding in the dark like in the past. In the exploration of the ultimate fear, you angels are a huge obstacle. Only by driving your holy Kesha off the altar can we pursue the true truth, Snow said. Since he has taken action this time, it means that there is no turning back. If it fails, God of Death Karl's plan to explore the void will be postponed for a longer time, but once it succeeds, the real void era will soon come. Ultimate fear, Angel Yan said with a sneer. Don't fool people here. In the end, you are just a group of despicable villains who only know how to plot and scheme. Angel Yan, or all the angels in the entire angel army, they act uprightly. They uphold the concept of justice, and wherever they go, they eliminate evil and promote their concept of justice. You angels are the ones who are so righteous, and you have the nerve to blame us. Snow doesn't care about the so-called good and evil of the angels. He only knows that anyone who hinders the Death God Karl from studying the void and exploring the truth of death and eternity must be eliminated. People with different ideologies cannot work together, and those who don't agree on words are even more useless. Don't talk nonsense with her. Only after we get rid of her and this dead monkey can we complete the plan. Zhu Yi couldn't stand it anymore. Get rid of her? My mission is just to delay her, Snow said, but he still raised his sickle and rushed towards Angel Yan again. So, above the Giant Canyon, Angel Yan, Sun Wukong, Snow, and Zhu Yi directly started a big battle. This battlefield is getting more and more chaotic. Li Qingyun could see everything around him at this time, but he didn't have time to be distracted. The Void Controller was in the process of being manufactured, and it was not easy to go through more than half of the progress. If he stopped at this time, everything would have to start all over again. And who can guarantee that the demons and the death gods will not come again next time? Most importantly, Li Qingyun discovered that the resonance between him and Jezzailin had exceeded his expectations. This meant that if he could succeed this time, he might not only create a simple void engine, but also a higher-level void controller that might surpass Jezailan's Xiongxin and Hui's black hole engine. Inspiration in creation is hard to come by, especially at a time when there is a chance to break through a technical bottleneck. Therefore, Li Qingyun would not miss such an opportunity unless it was absolutely necessary. It's just that, this battle situation, Li Qingyun put the little energy he could mobilize on the battlefield. Sun Wukong and Angel Yan were both restrained, Du Qiangwei was not there, Jezailan could not move like himself, and the team led by Liu Chuang had not returned yet. Now, the only 4 people who could still fight on this deck were Chen Yaowen, Zhao Xin, Zhao and Reina. The most important thing was that Reina was still the primary target of the demon army. Yaowen, Zhao Xin, Zhao, the 3 of you stay by Reina's side and ensure her safety no matter what. Lian Feng on the Black Great Wall obviously also realized the current situation. She could only arrange the only 3 super soldiers that could be dispatched on the Giant Gorge to be by Reina's side. We are all going to protect Reina. What about Xiaolin and the deputy commander? Zhao Xin asked. The level of the divine body of the deputy commander and Xiaolin is extremely high. It is difficult to hurt them with ordinary attacks. Moreover, the reason why the demon army launched the attack at this time is that they expected that the deputy commander would not be able to terminate the current mission to stop them. If they attack the deputy commander and Xiaolin, it is equivalent to forcing them to join the battle. At that time, their plan will be even more difficult to achieve. Therefore, as long as we can protect Reina and break their plan, they can't attack the deputy commander and Xiaolin, Lian Feng analyzed. After hearing her words, Zhao Xin and others still had some concerns in their hearts, but at this moment they could not hesitate. They could only walk towards Reina quickly and do their best to protect Reina. A bang, Zigu, Yaohua, stop them. A Tai finally saw this situation on the battlefield, so how could he let this great opportunity go to waste? A wormhole quickly appeared, and 3 demons rushed out at the same time, flying towards Zhao Xin, Chen Yaowen and the other 2. Activate Arc Forbidden 15, directly block Reina's actions, prepare to launch a second wave of sniping, break her defense rhythm, and then use the heavenly punishment bombing to continue to reduce her energy. In Demon Number 1, all the demons were adjusting their rhythm at a rapid speed, and the computing speed of the entire Demon Number 1 was directly maxed out. This battle is more difficult than fighting the Angel Legion, A Tai was complaining. The other demons on the side, even the Demon King Morgana, had the same feeling at this time. They were fighting against a South China Sea fleet in the pre-nuclear era, and their opponents were just a few super soldiers, but in this battle, all the demons in the entire Demon Number 1 were involved, and they always lost. Don't waste time. We are almost unable to suppress Liu Chuang. If they react and quickly return to defend the Great Canyon, this plan will fail completely, Morgana urged, and Atai and others naturally did not dare to neglect it. A new round of sniping tactics has been replanned and will be implemented soon. The target continues to be locked, Sunlight Reina. Chapter 246, The Strange Behavior of the Space Principal and the Holy Kisha. Lena, be careful. There are a lot of wormholes near you, and huge amounts of energy are condensing again, Lian Feng reminded her, but at this moment, she seemed to be unable to do anything except reminding Lena. In fact, the Xiaongbing company was completely out of manpower. Captain Lian Feng, this is Liu Chuang's team, we have successfully broken out of the encirclement. Killen's voice suddenly appeared in the communication channel, which made Lian Feng, who was already extremely desperate, immediately overjoyed. Great, you are finally online, and now the Giant Gorge is saved, Lian Feng said excitedly. Give me the exact coordinates, and I will open a wormhole for you immediately and let you return to the Giant Gorge. Lena, hold on for a little longer, the reinforcements will be here soon, Lian Feng said so. However, Lena at this moment was not happy at all. At this moment, wormholes appeared all around her, especially the Brewing Heavens punishment bombing, whose energy amplitude was much higher than the last time. She was alone now. How could she withstand all the attacks under such circumstances? Helplessly, Reina could only summon a shield and a long sword to block directly in front of her to protect her vital parts. At this time, this was all she could do. Li Qingyun sensed all this, and he was about to let Sun Wukong use his clones to protect Reina. But just when he was about to use these abilities, the voice of the Space Principal suddenly appeared in Li Qingyun's communication channel. Reina should go through this catastrophe. This is what I decided after communicating with Holy Kisha. This was the message from the space principal. There was only one sentence that didn't make sense, but the content surprised Li Qingyun. The space principal and Holy Kisha had talked to each other, and they actually felt that Reina should suffer this hardship. The most important thing was the result of their discussion. Doesn't it mean that Kisha knew that she was going to be blown to pieces by the Emerald Star, but she still chose to let all this happen? This is different from the original novel, where Holy Kisha did not kill Reina directly to avoid a supernova when facing the explosion of Emerald Star. This is not only a heroic death at a critical moment, but she directly planned her own death. Space, Kisha, what are you two planning? Li Qingyun was puzzled, but in the moment of his hesitation, everything had already happened. A round of sniping of God Killer No. 1 bullets fell directly on Reina. Even though Reina's divine body was able to have a certain degree of immunity and resistance to the damage of this God Killer No. 1 bullet, the continuous attack still caused her to suffer heavy damage. The subsequent heavenly punishment bombardment directly consumed more than half of the energy in her body. Then came the arrival of Black Wind Nightmare. He directly entered Reina's body and quickly rolled her up into the air. This was to forcibly break through Reina's mind blockade and want to directly control her body. After successfully controlling Reina, should we start a medium-sized flare bombardment to destroy the Great Gorge? Atai asked. Their original plan was to open Reina's super gene code after controlling her, and forcibly use Reina's ability to destroy the Great Gorge and the heroic company. But now, Li Qingyun and the others are back. We don't have time to delay any longer. Let's go. Morgana gave the order directly. At this time, they might not be able to crack Reina's gene code before the heroic company on the Great Gorge launched a counterattack. Not only would they not be able to destroy the Great Gorge, but the Reina they had finally obtained might also be snatched back. Everyone, withdraw from the battle immediately and prepare to start the second phase of the battle plan against Holy Kisha, Morgana said. As she finished speaking, the entire Demon No. 1 began to adjust its state quickly, and immediately transferred all its energy to Holy Kisha. Now, their combat mission is extremely heavy, because they must complete the god-killing battle against Holy Kisha as soon as possible, otherwise the heroic company will adjust and will definitely go to support with Angel Yan immediately. In the original novel, the demon army launched a god-killing war that was carried out step by step and steadily. Before dealing with Holy Kisha, it can be said that they were fully prepared and only implemented it after clearing all obstacles. But now they have to take risks and pursue fast fighting. It is true that there is a huge uncertainty factor on the Earth now. The existence of Li Qingyun has put great pressure on them. Now even the Xiaongbing company cannot completely defeat them, and can only temporarily suppress them with such means. In the giant canyon, Li Qingyun, Sultan and others finally rushed back. The wormhole energy field that had been constantly appearing around them quickly disappeared, and even Zuyi and Snow who were blocking in the air were far away. They took Reina away, and their goal is likely to deal with Queen Kisha. I have to go back, Angel Yan said as she was about to spread her wings and fly to Kisha's location, but almost at the moment she acted, Snow's figure immediately appeared in the distance, just the distance that Angel Yan could see. Brother Monkey, go up and help her, Li Qingyun reminded, and Sun Wukong also flew towards Angel Yan at this time, holding a dark alloy rod. However, just when he arrived at the place where Angel Yan was, the hunting blade user Zuyi appeared again, and she stood beside Snow. These two people are specifically watching you. As long as you make any move, they will immediately take action. Their purpose is to stop you from going to Kisha. Li Qingyun was very clear about the situation in front of him, and he also couldn't figure out what Kisha and the space principal wanted to do. Yan, you stay there, don't come over. Kisha's communication came, and Angel Yan's body, which was about to rush forward, stopped again. Queen Kisha, Angel Yan really couldn't figure it out. I sensed something deeper in the universe, I want to explore it, and the Angel Legion will be handed over to you from now on. You just go with that kid named Li Qingyun and help him complete his mission in this world. Kisha's voice was still so casual and indifferent, as if everything was so logical. What do you mean? Angel Yan was confused. She didn't understand what Kisha said today. I don't have time to explain too much to you now. Just follow Li Qingyun and you will naturally figure out everything in the end. After saying this, Holy Kisha directly cut off the communication. Almost at the same time, a special command was transmitted into Angel Yan's body. Her whole body unexpectedly lost control in an instant, and her spirit also fell asleep at this moment. Falling directly from mid-air. Sun Wukong was quick and used the power of space grip to cushion her, so that she did not fall into the sea, but was sent back to the deck of the giant canyon. Wukong, order the entire Xiaongbing company to enter the rest period. Wait for me. Li Qingyun also conveyed his meaning to Sun Wukong at this time. Chapter 247 Li Qingyun's questioning, the light of the soul gem. For the next whole day, the earth seemed unusually quiet. The demon army that won the war did not make any movement, and even the Teodi army did not take the opportunity to attack the earth. It seemed that the only change was that Reina was captured. Until the evening of the next day, Li Qingyun and Jezailan both opened their eyes at the same time, and in front of them, a purple pill finally condensed. Li Qingyun directly reached out and grabbed it in his hand, then turned and flew into the sky. He did not say a word to anyone, and did not even pay attention to the many super soldiers on the giant canyon who had been waiting for him to recover. He flew directly into space and came to an area where there was no Teodi army ship and no one else could detect it. The power of chaos magic in his body was released, combined with his own super gene, and burst out with a power beyond the dimension. A huge figure in a purple robe gradually appeared in front of Li Qingyun. This is the principle of the space. In the entire known universe, only Li Qingyun can actively contact him now. You'd better explain to me clearly what is going on. Li Qingyun is in a very bad state now. Originally, everything was within his plan. With him as the stabilizing force, no matter how much the demon army struggles, it is impossible to complete its established battle plan like in the movie. But now, Reina has been captured, and the communication of Holy Kesha has been completely lost, which means that Kesha should have been destroyed by the supernova. Li Qingyun has carefully planned for so long, but in the end, this is the result. The divine power that Kesha pursues has reached its peak. Your appearance and Karl's rise have made her understand that her previous theories and practices are no longer suitable for the current era. The space principal said that this space principal, who could only speak a few words intermittently when facing Reina and Duqiang Wei, could only speak normally under the influence of Li Qingyun's cross-dimensional energy. In other words, only Li Qingyun, who has the power of the super god world and the power of the Marvel universe at the same time, can pull his thinking dimension back to normal. If she exists, the world cannot change. 30,000 years of accumulation has already made her mountain grow to a point where it is enough to block everyone's progress. So, if we want to change this situation, we can only let this mountain collapse, the space principal explained this way. Almost at this time, Li Qingyun turned his eyes to the side. A strange energy was gathering, and he sensed a consciousness, very weak, but it did exist. He thought of a plot and hero's company too, that is, after the space-base King Hexy took the initiative to enter the black hole, the remaining consciousness observed the situation of the universe and sensed the existence of Holy Kesha at the same time. Is Kesha's will here? Li Qingyun turned his head, but he could not see anything, not Holy Kesha. But that weak perception was still there, and he could still barely perceive that someone was looking at him. Li Qingyun quickly drew symbols with both hands. Based on his own chaos magic and combined with the spells learned from Kamartaj, he directly changed his state into a soul, hoping to use this as a basis to sense the soul of Holy Kesha. But the result was still a failure. He still couldn't see the Holy Kesha. However, this feeling was obviously clearer than before. The spell was retracted, and Li Qingyun's soul returned to his body. Kesha has become a will in the universe. She is everywhere, but also everywhere. Your soul spell can see other people's souls, but you can't sense where she is specifically, and you can't communicate with her anymore, said the space principal. The will of the universe? Haha, Li Qingyun didn't think that what the space principal said at this moment was right. If she is really the will of the universe, she should be able to interfere with the laws of the universe, but now she is just a cosmic ghost. Li Qingyun has a fourth-generation divine body, and when he was in the Marvel universe, he spent a lot of time and energy studying things like divine bodies, souls, and the will of the universe. After all, in the Marvel universe, the universe itself is not single. In Marvel, from the single universe to the multiverse, and then there is the super universe and the omnipotent universe. Among the so-called 5 great gods of the universe, 4 are the so-called will of the universe. OAA and the Life Tribunal are even higher than the will of the universe. Li Qingyun had known about their existence for a long time, so how could he not care about this matter? The reason why he chose to come to the Super God universe directly with the principle of space when he had just completed the basic unification of the Marvel Universe Earth and had just become the fourth generation of God body and began to contact the real masters of the universe, such as the Cosmic Observer and the Celestials. Instead of waiting until the Celestials on Earth were killed, the Eternals were expelled, and the Judge Alyssum and others were fought before coming here, was to have more time to prepare here. In the Marvel Universe, he had basically mastered some of the levels of power that he could master. 5 of the 6 Infinity Stones, the chaos magic of the 3 major cosmic forces, as well as the celestial factor, the Thor factor, the mental control of the superstar, etc., were all mastered by Li Qingyun, and brought all at once. Li Qingyun's starting point in the Marvel Universe was the Great Clock, but he knew very well that the things in the Great Clock were not enough to make him truly invincible. So when he learned that he could come to the Super God universe, he did not hesitate at all. The purpose is to use the time he has been in this world to master more Super God technologies and fully integrate the power of the Marvel world that he has. Therefore, the space principal said in front of him that the Holy Kesha has become the will of the universe, which he thinks is a bit exaggerated. The current Holy Kesha is at most a part of the universe and belongs to an alternative observer. Although he can see the entire known universe at the same time, it is limited to being able to see. Buzz! Suddenly, a burst of orange light emanated from Li Qingyun's body. An orange gem suddenly flew out of his chest and then hovered in front of Li Qingyun. The space principal looked at the gem and fell silent. The consciousness lingering around Li Qingyun also became more active at this moment, as if full of curiosity. Li Qingyun stretched out a hand and pinched the orange gem between his index finger and thumb. He felt the temperature emitted by the soul gem at this moment. You actually feel it too? Li Qingyun was surprised. Li Qingyun knew that the soul gem had a certain level of consciousness, but since it was subdued and obtained by Li Qingyun, it had been very quiet, just like the other infinity gems, existing only as a tool. This was the first time that it had taken the initiative to react. Chapter 248 Then give his eye to me. Li Qingyun began to inject the soul power in his body into the soul gem. As his soul power was integrated, the light emitted by the soul gem became stronger. Then, a virtual projection gradually appeared not far in front of the soul gem. And this shadow turned out to be Holy Kesha. What a magical soul power! It can actually gather my consciousness in the form of a soul, Holy Kesha sighed, and even Li Qingyun was shocked at this time. This soul gem does have unparalleled power at the soul level, but it can condense the consciousness of Holy Kesha scattered in the sacred atoms of the entire known universe into a soul body. This is too terrifying. But each of the infinite gems represents a law of power in the universe, such as mastering space, controlling time, infinite power, etc. Isn't the ability of the soul gem to control all the souls in the universe? Li Qingyun's mind gradually became clear. He also understood why the soul gem could materialize Kesha's soul at this moment. Is this what you call the power from another dimension? Kesha turned back to look at the space principal. The two had obviously communicated before and mentioned Li Qingyun's true identity and other things in other dimensions. Yes, the space principal replied. The power that transcends dimensions can perfectly combine the power of 2 different dimensions and the world, Kesha said, and then locked her eyes on Li Qingyun. Space, you have created another super monster without knowing it. Kesha's eye was not only directed at Li Qingyun, but also an evaluation of the space principle over the past tens of thousands of years. From the initial 3 major god-making projects, to the inadvertent creation of the death god Karlin the Demon King Morgana, and the cross-dimensional Li Qingyun in front of him. Li Qingyun's existence is an accident among accidents. I may have contributed a little to his achievement, but he was definitely not created by me. The space principal said so, and he was also describing the real situation. He summoned Li Qingyun from the real world, but he couldn't communicate with Li Qingyun at that time, so he couldn't provide him with any help. So, Li Qingyun was able to get to this point by himself and the celestial computer, the big clock. The 3 major god-making projects were not directly created by you, but wasn't the final formation caused by you. Holy Kesha didn't care about the process. What was important was the cause and the result. The 3 major god-making projects were created because of the initiation and guidance of the space principle. The death god Karlin the Demon King Morgana also became what they are now because of the basic research of the super seminary and the space principle. Li Qingyun naturally appeared because of the space principle. Are you two assuming that I don't exist? Li Qingyun is still angry now. Can these two people stop talking to each other at this time? You are the key to the whole incident. How can you assume that you don't exist? Keisha turned around, and at this moment she was observing Li Qingyun with interest. She was just teasing the space principal out of instinct, but she was really curious about Li Qingyun. This young man who seemed to have only a few decades of life experience already possessed a fourth-generation divine body, and was as powerful as the main gods, or even surpassed them. It is said that a god cannot grow up in a few decades. But Li Qingyun obviously did it, and did it very well. I just want to know what you and the space principal are planning? Why do you want to disrupt my original plan? Li Qingyun questioned. He had carefully prepared for several months, and he even directly strengthened the combat power of the entire Ziongbing company for this. Originally in his plan, the attack of the demon army this time would not be successful. As long as Reina was not captured, Morgana could not launch a supernova to destroy the Holy Kisha. Moreover, Reina, who was supposed to be thrown back to Earth after destroying Kisha, did not appear anywhere on Earth at this time. This was obviously taken away by the death god Karl. That guy would definitely use Reina to complete his plan to control the startup bomb the black hole. In other words, Wang Huai of the Heavenly Palace, who possesses the black hole engine, and the so-called four horsemen of the void, will still appear. The error of this step of the plan has brought so much trouble to the future, and Li Qingyun has to spend so much time and energy to complete all of this. As for the reasons, hasn't the space already told you? Keisha didn't explain too much, because there were only those original reasons. In order not to hinder the development of the world, he took the initiative to die to give the universe a chance to develop further. This is really great, so great that Li Qingyun and the entire universe wasted so much time and energy in vain, and also sacrificed the lives of many people. How many angels will be lost in this fall of Holy Keisha? How many human deaths will be caused, and how many people among the four major civilizations of angels, demons, earth, and scorching sun will be involved? God of chaos, you are a god. Sacrifice is not unfamiliar to you. Death should be common to you. You are angry now because we have hindered your plan, right? Holy Kesha knew that a person who is promoted to god must be used to death and sacrifice in the process. Li Qingyun was able to create a huge interstellar empire in another dimension, so he must have experienced mountains of corpses and seas of blood in that dimension. So she would not think that the casualties caused by her in this incident would be difficult for Li Qingyun to accept. She understood that the reason why Li Qingyun was angry was because she and the space principal deceived him in this matter and disrupted his original plan. As compensation, I can betroth Angel Yan to you, how about it? Holy Kesha said, and her words also made Li Qingyun raise his head suddenly and look at Kesha in surprise. Can such a thing be promised so easily? But why does Li Qingyun feel a little moved? You don't need to interfere in matters of the heart. What Li Qingyun blurted out was not the excitement in his heart, but a rejection. However, since you are willing to compensate me, then give his eye to me. Now, it was Keisha's turn to be confused. Chapter 249 Xianji Wang Hexi is the best candidate. His eye? You want his eye? It took Keisha a long time to react. Even the space principal beside him was a little confused at this time. Although I have mastered a lot of technology and even possess the top power, I still lack the ability to accumulate knowledge and research. I need someone who is good at this direction and has enough knowledge to assist me, Li Qingyun said. He chose Izai not because he wanted Keisha to marry her to him. What he wanted was a real right-hand man. So, you hope that Izai can help you research certain technologies. Keisha now understood what Li Qingyun meant by asking her to give Izai to him. It was completely different from marrying Angel Yan to Li Qingyun. The combination project of three energies, Reality Gem, Chaos Magic, and Void Controller, Li Qingyun said, and almost at the same time, the sword of heavenly destruction and a ball of red chaos energy appeared in his hand. This sword, Keisha was originally paying attention to the content of the project that Li Qingyun mentioned. But the moment she saw the sword of heavenly destruction appear, she had to pay attention to it. This is the sword I copied from the one in Hui's hand, but the material is not quite the same. Li Qingyun naturally knew why Keisha cared about this sword, but at that time he just chose a weapon that was most suitable for him, and did not consider the origin of the sword and its impact on certain people. It is less evil, but more destructive. Is it because of the material or the red line on the sword? Holy Keisha was looking at the sword of heavenly destruction at this moment. Although she did not like the sword of heavenly destruction that was once held by King Hui, The quality of a weapon does not depend on its style, but on the person who uses it. When Li Qingyun used the Sword of Heavenly Destruction, it was obviously different from when Hui held it. Both, Li Qingyun looked at the Sword of Heavenly Destruction. It was made of Yoru metal, and Odin had personally cast magic on it, injecting the same energy as Thor's hammer into the sword, making the Sword of Heavenly Destruction itself an extremely powerful artifact. The addition of ether particles gives the Sword of Heavenly Destruction infinite energy. Its ability to rewrite reality is perfectly combined with the Void Engine, and the effect is infinitely enhanced. Li Qingyun's Sword of Heavenly Destruction is no longer just a divine weapon or a technological weapon. The concept of its existence is even the same as Li Qingyun, belonging to a cross-dimensional existence. The Sword of Heavenly Destruction can be the strongest of all Li Qingyun's weapons. It has been used since Li Qingyun was just a first-generation super soldier. This is enough to explain everything. Let I help you study how to combine super god technology with the power of the dimension you originally belong to. Your vision in selecting people is very unique. Keisha nodded in appreciation. Xianji King Hizai, as one of the 3 founding kings of Mellow Celestial Court, Hizai's significance to Mellow Celestial Court can be said to be unmatched. In the past 30,000 years, Hizai helped Holy Keisha develop the entire Mellow Celestial Court into the strongest civilization in the known universe. Now most of the technologies used by the Angel Legion are provided by Hizai. Hizai's research is not only profound, but also extensive. He can fully integrate the various technologies he has come into contact with and innovate new and more suitable models. Just like the clone of Dao Sheng's Huan Buddha and the flare technology of Lai Yang civilization, while retaining the original combat capabilities, it can also further promote the application of this technology to become more mature. In the entire Super Seminary world, I think there are only 2 people who can help me accomplish all this. One is the God of Death Karl, and the other is the Space King Hizai, but it is obvious that the God of Death Karl will not be willing to help me, and I dare not trust him for his character that can backstab the Super Seminary and the principal of the space. Therefore, the final candidate is only Hizai. Li Qingyun watched the entire Super Seminary animation. There are actually many people who are good at research and development. In fact, every super soldier has a certain foundation in technical research. But there are only a few who show outstanding performance, such as the God of Death Karl, the Apocalypse King Liangbing, the Space King Hizai, and the Space Principal. The Angels Hixin and Lianfang of the Black Great Wall in the younger generation are also good at research and technology development. But among these people, Zixin is younger and has less comprehensive knowledge. Lianfang comes from the Denner civilization. Her technology is basically derived from the Denner civilization. She has been on Earth for the past 3,000 years and has not made much progress. Apocalypse King Liangbing went to extremes and became the Demon King Morgana. He no longer has the same enthusiasm for research as before. The Space Principal made a mistake when exploring higher dimensions. Now he can only communicate with people normally under the influence of Li Qingyun. Moreover, the relationship between him and Li Qingyun is quite special. Li Qingyun can't ask him to help him research anything. The remaining Death God Karl and Xianji King Hexi, considering their personalities, naturally only Xianji King Hexi is left. Hexi has paid too much for Mellow Shinting, and she is now responsible for guarding Xiancheng. I can't ask her to do anything else she doesn't want to do. Holy Keisha already understood Li Qingyun's purpose. But the relationship between her and Hexi has always been equal. They are close sisters. How could she force Hexi to do anything? I know, but you can introduce me to Hizai and let me know her. Li Qingyun didn't ask for too much. He just wanted an opportunity to get to know Xianji King Hizai. As for winning her over to his side and letting her help him study those topics, Li Qingyun would try to convince her. That's no problem, Keisha no longer refused. It was really a piece of cake for her to introduce her. Even though she was now scattered throughout the known universe because of the sacred atoms, which was basically equivalent to the state of incarnation of the universe, it was not difficult to do this. Because of her fall this time, she had already closed the sacred knowledge treasure house before being destroyed by the Emerald Star, so that its functions and data were completely preserved. Very good, then I won't argue with you about this matter. Li Qingyun felt a little uncomfortable in his heart, but now it was over. Chapter 250 Angel Yan's Condition. After terminating the conversation with the Space Principal and Holy Keisha, Li Qingyun returned to the Grand Canyon. At this moment, everyone on the Grand Canyon was eagerly waiting for Li Qingyun's return. This was just after a great battle. The Grand Canyon was full of traces of ruins, and most of the super soldiers were injured. Their captain, the Sunlight Reina, was directly captured by the devil and her whereabouts are still unknown. At this time, Li Qingyun, as the backbone, left without saying a word. How could this not make everyone panic? Now that they finally saw Li Qingyun's return and saw that the god of chaos who led them to this point had returned intact, they finally had the confidence to welcome and face all this. "How is Angel Yan?" Li Qingyun asked, and his words also made the people around him, who were originally worried, recover from their confusion. "Still sleeping," Sun Wukong replied. "Yukin has already gone to see her. Her body is not seriously injured. It's just that the super gene system in her body has been continuously impacted by some special energy, causing her to fall into short sleep. As long as the impact of the energy ends, she will wake up by herself." Qilin explained the situation in detail. Although she didn't like Angel Yan very much, she subconsciously felt that Li Qingyun cared about this female angel, so she also paid more attention to Angel Yan. Start the search program of Red Star number 1, find all the angels scattered on the earth now, and summon them here. If there are any injured or in danger, send someone to help them immediately. Li Qingyun said that since this holy Kesha was willing to help her and let the Sky King Hexi get to know her, then in order to better attract Hexi to her side and serve as her most capable helper in the future, she had to give these angels some help to show her appreciation. Moreover, the angels were originally a good fighting force. Keeping them would be a good help for her to fight against the demon army and the Styx group of the god of death Karl in the future. Angel Fangxing and Angel Unian have already gone to look for them. We have given them access to the Red Star number 1 communication. If there is any situation, they should tell us, Sun Wukong said. Angel Fangxing? She is working with you this time. How is it? Li Qingyun turned his head to look at Liu Chuang. This time, the reconnaissance mission of Demon number 1 was in charge of Liu Chuang and Sultan, and they cooperated with Angel Fangxing in the Angel Corps. After the battle began, Liu Chuang's side was the first to have problems. The communication was completely cut off. Although Liu Chuang quickly got rid of the blockade of the Demon Corps and began to retreat according to the original plan, he encountered an ambush and was afraid that there would be casualties. An angel warrior died, and Angel Fangxing was also severely damaged by God Killer number 1. Later, it was Sister Qilin and the others who provided timely support to repel the demons. Liu Chuang was a little annoyed when he said this. Sun Wukong had clearly explained Li Qingyun's arrangement to them before the start, but in the end they were still delayed for so long, and one of the angels was killed. I used my body to block the bullets for them, but I could only block one, and Liu Chuang could only block one, and the remaining one. Thornton did not continue, but Li Qingyun naturally understood what he meant. Thornton and Liu Chuang were both able to be largely or even completely immune to the attack of the God Killer number 1 bullet. One of them was the ultimate beast body and the other was the 3rd generation god body. Both of them were extremely powerful. But after all, they had limited manpower, and they were not good at fighting such a battle with the Demon Legion, so it was inevitable that there would be mistakes. It's okay, you have done a good job. Li Qingyun stroked Thornton's forehead to comfort him. With the physical fitness of a super soldier, the injury will recover quickly, but Angel Fangxing has suffered a heavy blow after all, and the current combat power should not be enough. Liu Chuang, Rui Mengmeng, you two should set off on the light of dawn now, find them, act with them, and help them, Li Qingyun said. Yes, I'll go now, Liu Chuang agreed, and then took Rui Mengmeng with him and left here directly. Li Fifei, Wei Ying, I see that your energy has also decreased. Are your injuries not serious? Li Qingyun looked at Wei Ying and Li Fifei, who were sitting on the ground not far away. They were specially arranged by Li Qingyun to protect Yukin. When the demon army launched an attack on the giant gorge, the first thing to deal with was Yukin, the remote medical officer. Wei Ying and Li Fifei must have been under great pressure. It's okay, I can hold on, Wei Ying and Li Fifei answered at the same time. It's good that you're okay. You two performed the best in this battle. You are great heroes. You can't be wronged. Li Qingyun's words were not just to comfort them, but they were the best performers in the whole battle. Because only the two of them completed the established combat mission and protected Yukin. As for the others, your performance this time is also okay, but you need to improve, especially in combat awareness. Li Qingyun looked at the others. Although they were also executing according to Li Qingyun's plan, the intensity and effect of the execution were not up to expectations. Everyone knew in their hearts that they did not do well, so they didn't say anything and just lowered their heads. I don't mean to blame you, I just want to tell you about your current situation, Li Qingyun continued. There are some uncertain factors in this battle, but the result is failure. There is no doubt about it. Now that Holy Kesha has fallen, the biggest obstacle of the demon army on Earth has been eliminated, and they will definitely concentrate all their strength to deal with us next. If you want to win this battle, if you want to defend your home, you must become stronger. After Li Qingyun said this, the people who had been bowing their heads also stood at attention and answered in unison. Yes, we will definitely work hard. Well, I believe you can do it. Li Qingyun nodded, and was quite satisfied with the answers of these people. You all go down and rest, and take care of your injuries. After Li Qingyun finished speaking, he turned around and found Sun Wukong. It was his duty as a commander to summarize the gains and losses of the battle with everyone, and now that the duty has been completed, he should really pay attention to some key issues. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.